Welcome to the Trash Station Podcast, your gaming podcast all about weird, unknown, and forgotten video games. I am your host, Chris, here with my co-host, Max. Max, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's vacation day. I'm 2 weeks off from now, so next time we record, well, it's going to be the end of my vacation. So maybe I will be less enthusiastic as I am now.
Awesome. That's both excellent and not excellent for next time.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how much gaming time I'll get in the next 2 weeks because I'll have like a bunch of stuff to do. So we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. But worst of all, I have more hobby time to talk about.
Yeah,
But anyway,
perfect.
You know, in our friend circle, we're known to play mostly trashy games. We're talking anime games, retro games you've never heard of, the hardcore hentai shit. Come on, come on. The India stuff on Ninja Tayo and everything in between. Who did that silly little edit? Is it my good friend Scotch or my good friend hiding behind his mic right now?
I think it was our friend Rob. Rob, how are you doing
Oh.
today?
What's up, guys? Good evening, gentlemen. I'm doing awesome. How about you?
Doing
Other
pretty
than not realizing that you added that into our Google sheet, we're doing good.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking. It was like that when I got here.
I believe you.
for sure. But yeah, Rob, emailer extraordinaire.
King
He's our
emailer.
most proficient emailer for the show, and also host of the Classic Gaming podcast that we've been on like almost 6 months ago now, I think, at
Something
the
like that,
beginning
yeah.
of the year. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and talk a bit about yourself, my dear Rob?
Yeah,
please.
thanks for having me on. First off, it's good to see you guys. I know we hadn't been too long, but I was just starting to miss everybody. So
Right.
from Pittsburgh, from when we met for PolyCon, so it's good to sort of get to hang out again. Anyway, yeah, I'm Rob. I do the Classic Gaming podcast. Me and my co-host Jay. I also do Boxography, which is my YouTube channel where I look at complete in-box games, specifically ones that have really cool stuff inside them, like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, for instance? That one has an entire world almanac in the box. You know, like just interesting and cool things like that. I guess those are kind of my two main things, and then just hanging out in the Polykill Discord with you guys and everybody else that we know.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have the weird 3DS Elmo game with like a little piece of cloth in it? Do you know what I'm
No.
talking about?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Is
was
it
that?
Elmo's
Or-
A to Zoo Adventure?
Maybe I'm googling right now. I didn't prepare for this question. I just had this thought.
Popped into your head. It happens.
I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
interested. That's what it is?
Okay.
It's always great recording multiple
yeah.
seconds of podcast silence. It's the
Alright.
best thing in the world.
I'm gonna try to find it and send you that some at some point during the show.
Okay.
uh,
Tell
yeah.
me. I want to see
Yeah,
this.
yeah. There's the zoo one with like a kind of a stick or something.
It looks like it comes with a pin.
Yeah, that's not the one I was thinking about. So anyway, you can continue talking.
You find it. I really want to
that.
see this. I'll probably buy it as soon as you tell me about it because it sounds
Awesome.
funny.
Yeah.
So there's some more. So there's some boxography content, hot off the presses.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for the A to Zoo Adventurers.
So what I think you need to add to your collection and add to the channel is the Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Complete in Box Special Edition, because it comes with a boob mouse pad, and that's just so fitting for you.
Is that so? Dead or Alive Extreme 3? That's not Dead or Alive 3, right? This is a different
No,
thing,
so Dead or Alive, they've done the thing that Street Fighter did where like they release the normal edition and then they release additional editions of the same game that just
With,
have
like,
additional content.
more
So like
character-
the difference between like Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, that kind of thing, Dead or Alive has done the same thing over the years.
Okay. What was that? What did that come out on?
Xbox.
Oh, it was Xbox still. Okay,
Yeah, I believe that was Xbox, probably PS2 also.
gotcha. You know, when I like 15, yeah, about 15 years ago, I used to write for Team Evil Geniuses, which was an esports team.
Yeah.
And that was how I met Jay, because he used to write for them also. We wrote for their website. And evidently this was before we like got on board, but one of the StarCraft players who he never really got very big in, like, he never was very successful in StarCraft 2, but he was on the team mostly because he was really good in StarCraft 1. He supposedly one of the guys, one of our, like, basically our kind of the manager of the writers, told us that this particular guy was like one of the best DOA players in the world.
Okay.
I never even thought of DOA. I mean, it's not surprising, I guess, but especially at the time, I never really thought of DOA having like a competitive scene, you know? But this guy was evidently just a god at it.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's been featured at Evo before. Like, it's actually a legitimately very good fighting game. It just has the fan service side to it also,
Right.
which
Yeah.
Is kind of the appeal, I think, for most people. But I would say its systems are comparable to something like Virtua Fighter, just in terms of like the general complexity of like how everything works.
Really? Is that in depth?
It's very technical.
Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's not an easy game. It's not an easy game for a casual to pick up, which is you wouldn't expect from Dead or Alive, right?
You wouldn't expect. Are the new ones like that also? I think a lot of the new ones are free to play, aren't they? And then you just buy characters and stuff. Do you know anything about the newer ones?
No, I haven't played any of them since 5. I played a bit of Dead or Alive 5, and that one you can get a free to play version of it, but it only has like 8 characters and a few stages, so you would have to buy a whole bunch of stuff for it, or you can actually buy the game and you get like you don't get all the quote DLC characters or anything, but you get a more full roster and like a more full game out of it that way. But with the free version, you just get those few characters and like you're able to play arcade mode essentially, so you can get a feel for it. I've not played 6, which is the newest one. I don't really have
6 is the newest. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have interest in trying to play it. That game is they're a little. I don't know. I never got deep into Virtua Fighter. I never got deep into Dead or Alive. Like, they're almost a little too technical for me. It's kind of like Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is another one of those games where it's like extraordinarily technical in its execution of moves and combos and what you're actually trying to do, especially on a competitive level, where I don't feel like I'm even good enough to even play them very well casually, I'm much better. Like, Soul Calibur is 100% my thing, but like I feel like I perform pretty well in Tekken. I can do good in Mortal Kombat.
Right.
For whatever reason, Blaze Blue clicks with me, which is kind of crazy because that's a really, really fast, intense
I haven't played
2D
that.
fighter.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. Yeah, that was really fun.
I would like to get good at the at like some of the, at least one or two of the Guilty Gear games, just because I love the art style on those so much.
Right. Yeah.
They're the best
Strive?
looking fighters in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Guilty Gear Strive is supposed to be a lot more accessible for new
Is
players.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Strive is the one to start with. If I'm going to give it a shot then. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've not played a whole lot of Strive. Like, I've put hands on it, but I've not played it in any sort of serious way. I probably should at some point. I should probably give that a serious go. But
So I sent a link. I'm not sure if that was what I was thinking about, but I found a Cookie Monster box with like a Wiimote cover, but it's all with the face of the
Oh, is that
Cookie
what that
Monster on
is?
it.
Okay.
I mean, that's
the
pretty
one.
cool.
Yeah.
It's Cookie Monster Wiimote cover. That is pretty awesome.
So yeah, Anyway.
I just saw a picture of it. Hold on, I don't know if here's a picture of it on the. If you guys haven't seen this yet, here's a picture of it on the Wiimote.
Okay.
It looks really funny.
It looks so dumb. You can't see any buttons except for start and 2.
Oh, that's
If it-
great.
It's just like a little sock over it.
Yeah.
I
wish
have to imagine that game that it comes with doesn't require all the buttons on the Wii remote.
Yeah, probably
which is-
not.
Mhm.
yeah. But that
Oh.
would be really funny to like go into a Mario Kart Wii game and you're using this Cookie Monster
Uh-huh.
Wii sock.
And there's also the Elmo version for the Zoo game, but for Wii. So I'm pretty sure that's the
Oh, there's a
game I
Wii
was
version of
thinking
this?
about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the one you're thinking of. Okay.
you can complete the set.
Dude, I just found the Cookie Monster one on eBay. I haven't looked through all the listings, but I found like one of the first listings I found on eBay just now, $7 plus shipping. That's
Wow.
not bad, and it comes with and it does have the thing in it, so that's a pretty
Nice.
good deal.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna pick this up probably before we're even finished recording.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're adding ridiculous things to your collection.
Yeah,
Thanks, Max.
Hey, you're welcome.
yeah, thanks.
I hope to see this episode like for April 4th or something.
That would be a good one.
But
I don't
yeah.
know, but I don't know if I can hold. I don't know if I can wait that long. Is the problem?
Yeah, for sure. For a great content like that, you just have to send it.
Yeah, gotta have
Right.
that Sesame Street content. It's what everybody's pining after.
Yep.
Oh yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. We didn't tell you, but like in the past 2 weeks, Chris and I just like played the same game for we each played our own game and not a lot of variety, so we didn't have a lot to talk about for the podcast. So we were like, yeah, we should invite a guest, and your name popped up in our mind. You play also like silly stuff, so I think it's gonna be a really fun episode.
Cool. I think
yeah.
it's yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
And we're
And-
both the last two guests from Drunk Friend, I believe. So
Oh yeah,
we
that's
have-
right. Yeah.
We have a high caliber podcast right now with a lot of
Definitely.
pedigree.
Yeah, I've not been invited on a Drunk Friend yet. I doubt I will be. It's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I will
yeah.
be.
I'm sure. Just win a Warman tournament or something, and then you'll have like a great pickup line. Hey, Trav.
Yeah,
and it's 10 p.m.
Well, I don't know. I told Trav he had a fat face, so he's probably still mad at me about that.
So mad about it.
Maybe in a year, next Polycon, you can apologize. But yeah, we're not the Sesame Street podcast. We're the Crash
Unfortunately.
Station podcast. That's your line. I'm not used to reading that. As usual, we'll add a bunch of games on the tier list that we call the landfill. Shout about our creative hobbies and shout out some of our favorite content creators on the internet.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. And Rob, I just want to say thanks so much for joining us. Like we have a list of people that we want to have on, and like you were on that list, so it's not like you had us on your podcast so graciously. We appreciate that, and so we wanted to have you on at some point. And it's always hard to find time to invite guests on because like trying to coordinate 3 schedules is always a pain in the ass, you know.
I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what. Especially when you have a long podcast like you and I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys usually go for like 3 hours at a time. We go for over 2 hours. We don't usually go for quite 3 hours. We have in the past.
Yeah.
We might if we keep bullshitting around like we have today.
You find any more cool Sesame Street stuff?
Yeah. All right.
Why don't I
have-
go ahead and get us started
Okay.
and
Go.
talk about
Go,
the
go.
game that I have been obsessively playing like nonstop constantly. I can barely drag myself away, which is Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic's Obscura. I talked about this on our last episode a little bit, and I had about 7 hours worth of playtime in it at that point. But realistically, on my current save file, I only had about 5 hours. So I really felt like I had barely scratched the surface of this game. And to an extent, I had only barely scratched the surface because I had only been to like a couple of places. within this vast open world of this game. I am sitting at about 35 hours now. I really thought I would have been at more hours into this by the time we recorded, because I was sitting at about like 30 by last weekend. But this week's been kind of busy, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to actually play it, which is unfortunate because when I'm playing this game, I can't fucking stop. I love it so much. It's such a great RPG. And what, Rob, you've played Arcanum before, right?
It's been a while. I'm gonna say I probably got maybe 8 or 10 hours in.
Okay.
It's a great game.
What were your thoughts on it? Because I want to get an outside perspective really quick before I start like just ranting love at this game.
Yeah, no. I felt, hearing you talk about it, I felt exactly how you have felt about it. I was blown away by it. All of just like the things you can do, all of kind of the things the game takes into account when you're just running around the world and talking to people and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was very impressive. With part of the reason I didn't get farther than I did was I didn't get like hard stuck, but I sort of got to a point where the game became very difficult because specifically I thought it would be funny to choose, I think it was a half ogre.
Okay.
With either 0 or 1 intelligence. And
Yep.
So one of the hilarious things about the game is when your intelligence is that low, it actually affects your dialogue. And so
it sure does.
I was running up to people saying like, I think my name was like Meat Bread or something like that was the name I gave my guy. And I'd run up to me and he'd be like, me Meat Bread, you pretty, like, and that was like the extent. And then they would try to like, usually the townspeople and just like regular people I came across, they would dislike me because having a low intelligence makes people dislike you, and also being a half ogre makes people dislike you. So
Yep.
like I had both of those things going against me, so it was very difficult to like get anywhere, to get anything accomplished. Like story wise and talking to NPCs. So I know it's possible because the game was designed for that, but I kind of handicapped myself and got a little tired of just having such a hard time progressing.
Yeah, I would definitely say go back and don't do that. So my character, I built I started as a dwarf, a male dwarf. And I was following like so there's certain paths that you can follow when it comes to your leveling up system, and you can either completely choose to level up your character by yourself and like pick all of your stats yourself and everything that you're going to learn yourself, which is a lot to take in. But I have a lot of experience playing tabletop role-playing games, so it's maybe not as overwhelming for me to sit there and look at a menu for 45 minutes deciding what I want to put my next 2 points into, as it would be for somebody who doesn't have, 12 to 15 years worth of tabletop role-playing game experience to do. Because like when I'm building a character, to sidetrack, when I'm building a character for D&D, I might spend like 3 days making a character. Like that's not an uncommon thing for me to do. So for me to sit here in a video game and like just look through a bunch of options for 30 minutes is not that overwhelming, because I'm not looking through a whole pile of feats. I'm not looking through, like, there's less options than there is in Dungeons and Dragons. So all that's to say is that when I started the game, I was following a predetermined path for my character's level up system that I chose at the beginning. And after about like 10, 15 levels, I was like, I kind of want to be able to start using some of this other stuff that I've found within the world. Like I wanted to be able to, I found out that like I could make traps and like place them down onto the ground and lure enemies into traps. And I found out that I could make like explosives and bombs and things like that. And I was like, well, I want to make those because that seems really cool. But my character wasn't making those naturally. So I was like, well, I'm just going to change how my character levels up, and I'm going to get rid of this preset level up system, and I'm going to change it to where I'm just leveling up myself and picking what I want to do. So I started doing that, and that really started to teach me how exactly the systems within this game work. And what that ends up meaning is that there's a entire like separate skill. It's not a tree. It's like a skill gauge in on your character sheet. And what it means is that the more you invest into technology, the less that magic will affect your character. Or the more that you invest into magic, the less technologies will invest into your
that.
character.
It was almost kind of like the way it came across to me. Tell me if this makes sense, but I felt it was kind of like the more you kind of believe in technology, it's kind of like almost like you don't believe that the magic is affecting you because you're more scientific and you're like, oh, like that was kind of how I thought of it in my head.
Yep. That's kind of how it works, except in the lore of the world, in the lore of Arcanum, like the more that somebody becomes technologically involved, the less that magic actually has an effect on them.
Yeah.
Because it like drains the magic out of people just being around technology.
Okay.
But also the more magical somebody is, that can also damage lesser technologies just by them being around it. So for instance, if you and your party of characters are in a town and you try and get on the train, and your party and yourself are consistent of mostly magic users, they won't let you on the steam train because they think that your magic will like disable the steam engine, which in the lore of this world, it possibly could.
Yeah, it's like turning on a cell phone in a plane. It's going to cause the whole thing to crash.
Yep, it's causing these problems. So I've started building out my character to where I'm like kind of a little bit into technology and a little bit into magic at the same time, so that my healer, who has been with me since the start, he could still cast his magical healing on me while we're in combat, and I can still get effects from that and still get effects from like magic potions, but also I can still use my bombs and my traps and be able to use like herb-based healing items, which the herb-based healing items are technology-based. They're not magical-based. So I'm kind of trying to split this line, but I'm a little bit more into technology right now. I think that's
hard. Is that a hard build to balance? Sounds like
I think it probably is, but I'm having a good time trying to maintain that balance. I think it's really cool. The other thing that I think is really cool, so you had a problem where like your intelligence was too low. I completed a quest, and I did not realize that during the course of this quest, this witch had cursed me and given me a permanent -3 to my charisma. So permanent. There, wow. I've looked at the wiki. There is no way to remove this curse.
Oh my gosh!
You're just fucked. You have to load an old save if you want to remove it. And by the time I realized that, I was like 2 hours later. I was like, why are people kind of treating me like shit? They weren't treating me like this before. So I go into my stat sheet and I'm like, my charisma used to be 8. Now it's 5 and it's in the red. So I have this negative to my charisma. And what that also means is that my charisma got so low that one of my party members left my party.
Damn.
Because you have to have 4 charisma for each party member that you have in your party.
Oh,
so
wow.
I had to, my next 3 level ups, I had to invest 3 more points into charisma to counteract that charisma curse to be able to get my other party member back.
Oh
and then another thing that happened was I had gone out, I had done this big quest where I had to go through this mine and fight a whole bunch of things. It was like this big 3-floor mine. It was a big dungeon that I had to explore. My character had apparently gotten a bunch of scars from battle within this, like me going through this dungeon, and that caused a negative to my beauty score. So when I went back to town, everybody was treating me like shit because I wasn't good looking anymore. I had like a crippled leg and a scar over my face. You can see these in your character sheet, but I didn't realize they were there. So I had to go and I had to get like specific healing to remove these scars from my body so that people wouldn't treat me poorly. Not just because I'm a dwarf, but because I was a dwarf who looked ragged at that point.
Oh boy.
And it's these kind of interactions that I'm just like, this game is ahead of its time. Like this was 2001, and like I don't think it's necessarily ahead of its time, but I think it is in a lot of ways. Also, it almost feels like its systems are so complex that nobody else wants to even try to make a game like this. It's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's really fucking good. I really like this game. It's going to be really hard to find another game that I like more than this that I've played this year. Like this is probably like right now this game sits at my game of the year.
Wow.
I can see that, especially for you in particular. Like this seems right up your alley.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's very much up my alley. I love the complexity of these systems. I'm loving everything that this game has to offer. Still having some technical issues with it. Like my mouse still freezes on screen sometimes, and I just have to like close out of the game, like save, close out, reload the game. If I try and skip through like the opening, like there's a 10-second opening cinematic before the main menu. If I hit enter and try and skip past that, it freezes the game. So I just have to watch that every time. So it is plagued with technical issues, but like that kind of thing has never bothered me. I don't really care. Everything else about this game is just so good. I love it. It's a wonderful, fantastic RPG. I think everybody should try this if you're at all interested in like if you liked Fallout New Vegas, you will love this game. Is my opinion.
Yeah, I don't even, and I know you got it from GOG. It's not even on Steam, I don't think. Is it only on GOG or is it on Steam?
I think it's on Steam also. From what I understand, the GOG version is like more stable than the Steam version for whatever reason. I also have 2 massive unofficial patches installed into the game, just fan-made patches that make the game more stable and more playable. So, you can find those really easily online. One's called like the UAP, the unofficial patch, I think is just what it's called. And then the other one, I don't remember what the other one's called, but if you do any looking into this game, everybody's going to recommend these 2 patches. You can find them online. There's apparently been this one guy who's been working on this game since like 2005 for free and just continuously making new patches for it because he loves it that much, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, evidently.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to continue to talk about this game. I still feel like I'm barely into it. Like I'm 35 hours in, and I'm not barely into it. Like that's a lot of time to invest into a game. I have completed a lot of side quests. I've completed quite a bit of the main quest. Like the main story is progressing forward.
How far? Like what percentage would you guess of the way through with it? Would you guess you are?
30 to 40% maybe.
Jeez.
I honestly don't really know. So how long to beat says that it's like 75 hours.
Okay.
For like main plus extras, but I feel like I'm playing kind of slow also, and I'm doing a lot. Like I go back to town maybe more often than some other people would because I get a lot of unidentified gear, and I'm not magical enough to be able to identify magical gear by myself, so I have to go back to a city and go to a specific vendor to identify magical gear for me, to have somebody do that for me so that I can find out whether or not that's worth me equipping to me or to one of my party members, or if it's worth me just selling to somebody. And then if I just need to sell it, I have to go to like 8 different shops within the town because one shop won't buy this dagger because they're only an armor shop or they're only a clothing shop. They're not the weapon shop. So you can't sell the dagger to the weapon shop. Or maybe they don't want anything to do with the magical equipment. So because they're the armor shop, they're not the magical armor shop. So you have to go and find the magical armor dealer. So you have to go around to it's that kind of stuff I could see irritating other people. 100%. I could see that being very, very frustrating for somebody. Like, why can't I just go to one shop and have it be one size fits all? But it's like, well, do you go to CVS to, I don't know. What do you buy? Do you go to CVS to buy golf clubs? Would
Right.
Yeah.
No. You go to the drugstore to buy, Tylenol. You go to the sporting goods store to buy sporting goods. The drugstore is not going to buy your sporting goods from you. It's that kind of mentality just pushed into a magical world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I
get
love this
that.
game.
Uh-huh. Awesome.
One of the funny things, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this was this game that I'm thinking of. You have to raise your intelligence, you have to read books. And I think it's probably like specific books that it's like, oh, you get this book, you read it, it'll raise your intelligence by 1 or whatever. But you have to have a certain level of intelligence to be able to read. So if you start with low enough intelligence, then you can never raise it because you can't read in the first place in order to raise it. So you're just stuck at 1 or whatever.
I believe that's partially true. Like when you level up, if you are choosing how you put your points into your stats, you can just put points into intelligence.
You can just put them into that? Okay.
Yes. But I'm not 100% sure because I've not played a 0 intelligence character or a very low intelligence character. Like my character started with like 9 intelligence. It would not surprise me if this game was the kind of game where if your intelligence is too low, you would not be able to read, and therefore you would not be able to access some quests because they specifically require you to be able to read things. Which is just like, that's another thing. Like, as the game has progressed in the main city of Tarat, there's a guy who is selling newspapers, and the newspaper only costs you 2 gold pieces, which is nothing. It's petty change. It's like spending $1, on something. It's literally like buying a newspaper. As you progress through the game, depending on the quest you complete, what is printed in that newspaper changes. So if you complete a bunch of quests around town in Tarat where like there's a bunch of side quests you could do where like people have there's like this group of bandits, I guess, who have been like breaking into people's houses and stealing things from people. If you complete like 2 or 3 of these quests, you'll like completely solve this theft problem within Tarat.
Really?
If you don't do anything about it, you'll get messages on or you'll get the newspaper and it'll be like string of thefts continue within Tarat.
Mhm.
But if you only solve a little bit of it, you can find a newspaper and it'll be like, well, the problem, the theft problems in Tarat have been solved. But then if you come back 8 days later, 8 in-game days later, you can get another newspaper where it's like the petty theft problem has returned. And it's like the amount of attention to detail of just like little things like that is what impresses me about this game.
Yep. I agree.
It's fantastic. Like absolutely one of the best games I've ever played. I have been considering tier listing the games that were released in 2001 because 2001 is an absolutely insane year of video games. That was the year that like Grand Theft Auto 3, the first Devil May Cry, like Halo released. Like 2001 is an insane year, and this game just adds on to the pile of just why that game is probably one of the best years in gaming ever.
It was a great year. Yeah.
So
I feel like
S tier. Max,
I feel
go
like
ahead.
the way you're talking about the game, if this was announced today, it would take like 12 years to make, and half of the systems wouldn't work. It seems
Probably,
like pretty crazy that all of that worked and they made it like in a timely fashion back in the days.
Yes. So one of I'll to to jump forward in the podcast a little bit, one of the videos I'm going to shout out later is about this game specifically. And this game, Troika Games, was a development studio that formed where there were like 3 guys, and I don't remember all of them, but they had all made a bunch of really popular PC games. So you have like one of the guys who was like a lead creative from Fallout, one of the guys who was one of the lead creatives from Icewind Dale, and one of the guys who was a lead creative from like Baldur's Gate, all came together, made this new studio, and made Arcanum. So you have a bunch of guys who made what are generally considered some of the best PC games ever, who came together and made their own studio, and then made a game. And it's just like, well, no shit, it was good, you know?
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, so this game has me really interested in going back and playing more of these old classic PC RPGs. Like I'm gonna at some point dig really deep into Icewind Dale. I'm gonna play the original 2 Fallout games. I really want to play. I have a wish list on GOG. Hold, please. Give me just a second as I load that program.
Well, my wish list on GOG needs some attention. I've got too much just kind of crap on there that I just was kind of like, oh yeah, I had this, had that, had this, had that, and now it's got a bunch of junk that I actually don't really care about.
Right.
Yeah.
So like Planescape Torment, I've been told is just one of the best RPGs. So that's on there. Icewind Dale, Neverwinter Nights, King's Bounty, Demon's Gate, Throne of Darkness. Yeah, that's a pedigree of a lot of classic RPGs that people speak very highly of, and I'm excited to dive deep into that genre. So
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more of that for me, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Cool.
Arcanum's S tier. If I could put it above S tier, it would be above S tier. Like I love this game.
Yeah, it's pretty fun finding a game that just speaks to you like that. It doesn't happen often, so enjoy it.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. Who wants to take the next one?
You want to go, Rob? You have 3 games, and I don't know. I feel you have a pretty good segue coming from Arcanum.
Yeah, pretty good segue into Babysitting Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the box. This is a Nintendo DS game.
Sweet.
I actually bought this when we were in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Me and Burger Champ and I think it was Muddy and Mook went down to there's like a used game store nearby.
Mm-hmm.
We walked down there one day to check it out, and Burger was like, "Rob, you should get that," and pointed at this, and I was like, "You know what? I think I actually might." It was because it was $4. So
nice.
So I said, "What the hell?" Picked it up for $4. This is again, it's a Nintendo DS game. It came out in 2008, and it's clearly a like made for girls to play by guys who don't have any idea what a girl probably wants to play. Like who wants to like does this like I doubt it. I know babysitting is more of a female centric task, but do you think girls are actually want to play a game where they're doing that? That's just a job, right? I mean,
look, the girls in Halloween really wanted to babysit so they could meet up with their boyfriends.
Would you play a game where all you do is like smoke brisket?
You know what?
Probably would.
If somebody made like barbecue smoking simulator, I would probably play that.
Yeah, that's my point.
Good point. So maybe this does have some appeal to its actual target audience. Who am I to say? In this game, you are of course a babysitter, and you're taking on various babysitting jobs. It's not kind of like an open thing where you're offered jobs and you take them like each level. Like it's very sequential. You do one level after the other. You do each house. you babysit like for different families. Each family is 7 levels long. So you basically babysit at the same house for 7 levels in a row, and then you move on to a different house and you do that one 7 times, and it kind of gets a little bit more difficult each time. And it just kind of goes on like that. What you're actually doing in the game is basically you're not even really babysitting. You're really just cleaning up the people's shit. That's all. That's just strewn all over the house. While a kid runs around and messes shit up even worse. You are so. For instance, it's kind of like a sort of like an isometric. It almost looks like if you were just to look at a screenshot, it would look kind of like The Sims.
Okay.
But it doesn't play like that. It's you use the stylus and you tap on the screen to like I want to go here and run over here and fix this thing, and I want to run here and fix this thing, run here and fix this thing. All the tons of stuff is messed up around the house. Like the couch cushions are messed up, plants are knocked over, like DVDs are falling out of the TV cabinet, the bed's messed up. You're having to go around and clean these things. At the same time, there's a kid who is just running rampant and just like messing stuff up even worse. And the goal is just to get the whole house perfectly clean before your time runs out.
Okay.
And of course, the thing that makes it difficult is the kid running around messing it up while you're trying to clean it. What you're supposed to do is every now and then run over to the kid and put him in timeout. So what that means is you tap on the kid instead of something in the house that needs cleaning. Your character, she runs over to the kid, and then basically that freezes him in place for like 10 or 15, probably about 15 seconds or something like that. So you're free to go clean up stuff while he just sits wherever you told him to sit. And then after there's a little meter over his head, and once that fills up, he gets up and starts running around again. What's funny though is you can put him in timeout just like freely. Like you don't have to wait for him to actually do something. You just as soon as he gets up in timeout, the best strategy is just to run up to him, put him in timeout immediately, so you can continue cleaning stuff.
I see you're prepping your speedrun strats.
I was prepping my speedrun strats for sure. Another good speedrun strat is to use the coffee maker, because every time you go over to the coffee maker, your character drinks coffee and it gives her super speed for like 10 seconds or so. She runs faster and she cleans stuff up faster. Because when she's like fixing the bed or whatever, she sits there. It takes like 3, 4, 5 seconds for her to get it clean. Drinking coffee not only makes her get there faster, but she does the actual cleaning faster too. On some levels, there's also a baby in a baby crib, and every now and then you'll need to change the baby's diaper and then go throw it away in the trash can, or you'll have to get the baby milk, which involves getting milk out of this little like baby refrigerator, putting it in a little milk warmer, and then taking it over and giving it to the baby. Then in later levels, there's also clothing and just trash just all over the floor. And those things are different from just tapping on them and fixing them up. What you have to do with those is you can only do one of those two things at a time, clothing or trash. You run around picking up every little individual piece of clothing, for instance. And then once you've got it all, then you have to run over and put it away in like the dresser. And then the same with the trash, you go pick up that, and once you have all that, you take it over to the trash can and throw it away into the trash can. Again, in the meantime, the kid's running around, you're having to put them in timeout constantly. Some of the later levels after that, there will be multiple kids running around. So it just kind of gets more and more hectic as you play through the game.
Did you get?
So I was planning. I thought I was going to be able to beat the game. I don't know why. I thought there were 7. I thought there were 7 houses, and I was like, and I did 1.5 houses in like a night. So like in a real life night. So I was like, well, I can just kind of grind this out and focus on this and finish it. I don't know what made me think there were 7 houses. There are 21 houses.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
So there's like 140 levels to this game.
The long play is 6 hours long.
Is it really? Do you pull it up?
Yeah.
That's actually not as I would have actually guessed longer. Based on there being 20 houses.
From what I'm seeing, there's 108 levels. but that's still way too
108.
much.
Okay, maybe
That's
some of the
way too
houses that
many.
have way too many. Yeah, because it doesn't change. I mean, yeah, it does change a little bit because, like I said, they add more stuff going on. But it's kind of like Pac-Man almost. Like it's the same thing you're doing, just kind of like getting everything picked up as fast as you can. I can't imagine doing that for 100 and however many levels. There's no way I was gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like it's kind of fun for like a night.
Yeah.
Probably not.
It
Probably
wasn't
not for
bad.
extended.
That's
periods
the
of time.
funny thing is it really was not a bad game. It was very arcadey.
Right.
It wasn't over the top in like the girlishness or idiot male developers pandering to young female audience. Like it wasn't really too terrible, honestly. It was kind of fun. Like you do have to kind of strategize. Like, do I want to spend my time, like especially on some of the bigger levels? When you're on one end of the house and the coffee maker is way over on the other end of the house, you're like, well, is it worth it to go over to the coffee maker
Right.
and just to get speed to come back here or not? So like doing that, like trying to wrangle up all the bratty ass kids that are running around just trashing the place. It was actually kind of fun. It wasn't 114 levels fun or whatever, but I didn't hate the time that I spent with it, honestly. It was like 10 times better than I expected it to be.
Great.
Oh. Yeah.
So where
that's
would
a
you
nice
put it on the
surprise.
tier list?
Yeah.
I think this is fine.
Yeah, it's B
Honestly,
tier. It's just
Especially-
fine.
Especially
it's
for $4, right?
especially for $4, especially for a game like if you're talking trashy games, this is a fine trashy. Like I've played many games that were supposed to be much more promising than this that turned out to be much worse. This is actually kind of fine, honestly.
Yeah, sweet. That's the kind of thing that I love.
Oh yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know. This is exactly what you guys. When I was trying to decide what to play, for this podcast, and I was like, do I have anything like any physical games in my own collection? And then I remember this. I was like, oh my gosh, this has to be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Babysitting Mania, B tier. This is fine.
Perfect.
I can't believe it, but it's true.
Awesome. I'm gonna take the wheel. I have an update too from a game that I've been playing on the last episode that I've continued playing, but honestly, I thought I was done with the game. The game is Super Flappy Golf. Did
Okay.
you listen to that part of last episode, Rob? No,
Yes.
not putting you. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, just a refresher for everybody. It's the Flappy Bird golfing puzzle game where you have to hit the hole in the least amount of flaps possible. So there's 3 cups with like 35 levels each. Each level can take from 30 seconds to 5 minutes because I'm trying to get the best course or the gold star. So I got finally to the last cup, last level, beaten everything on the gold stars, and then the game wasn't done. I unlocked the diamond stars or whatever they're called in the game.
Oh no.
So basically, what that means, if I want to beat the game for real, I have to replay everything and get even better scores than what I already got. So at first, I was kind of devastated. I was like, "Oh, come on!" I was really ready to put that game to sleep and like play something else for the podcast. But at the same time, I like the game, so I didn't want to leave it unfinished. I want to play it all the way through. So I came back to the first world and just started grinding those diamond stars. And honestly, it's kind of a good move the way that they implemented it, because like the gold stars I had, like it was difficult. I had like to focus and find the strats and find the routes and everything. But now that I've done that and beaten the whole game, I've gotten really good at using those mechanics and flying through tight spots and changing directions without flapping and everything. So now doing those diamond stars, is almost as difficult as I was doing the gold stars like 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of interesting because like I arrive in some levels where like my I score is 7 flaps, and then I see I have to do it in 2 flaps, and I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Damn.
What the fuck? It took me like 2 minutes to get that score. And then I try it and I get it in like 2 or 3 tries because I've just gotten so good at catching like a gust of wind and changing direction while going
Mhm.
up instead of flapping multiple times and stuff like that. And it's really satisfying to just ace those levels. Some of the
Sweet.
levels, even you have to do them in 0 flaps. What that means is that you get 1 flap and then you have to land perfectly centered in the hole. It's called a swish shot, and it removes a stroke from your flap counter. So some of those levels you really have to be perfect because there's no margin for errors. And even some of the other levels where they require like 3 or 2 flaps, sometimes I get even better than the diamond stars. So I think I've really mastered the game, and I continue to have fun with it. Like my only complaint once again is just that I think $8 is a bit too expensive
Sounds like
for
it.
this game. Like I would have bought the game without the ads if it was just a couple. Like at first, I didn't know I was going to play this game for this long, so maybe the eight
Right.
bucks was worth it. But now that I'm reaching the end of it, it's not worth it to spend that much either. So I'm kind in the very middle
It's like
of
maybe if it was $5, it would be a little bit more worth it. You think?
yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
there's
that's
also
fair.
like there's a bunch of like achievements that you can also do to really beat the game at 100%, and some of those require you to play online, and there's nobody online. I've tried a couple times and there's just nobody playing this game at the same time as I do. So I think just the diamond stars is going to be my 100%. And yeah, that's super flappy golf. Any questions before I put it on the tier list for good?
No.
No, I'm just curious where it's going to land.
I gonna leave it. I think I put it in great games last time, and I'm gonna leave it in great games.
Okay.
At first I pondered like dropping it to this is fine because it made me like play the game through the game twice. But the more I think about it, the more I think it was the right move, and having those like diamond stars would have really slowed the game down at first, and I don't think I would have had like the capacity to reach those scores at that point of the game.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Super Flappy Golf. It's a great game. Like I think it's a really good platform puzzle platformer, if you can
Mhm.
call that. Yeah, I'm. But I'm ready for it to end. Like I'm having fun, but it's gonna be enough. I'm not bringing Super
Yeah.
Flappy Golf for another episode. I promise.
Right. I will be bringing Arcanum for another episode. At least one, very possibly more. We'll see.
I think there's a lot more to talk about than lapping in a golf game.
There sure is.
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm not going to talk about Arcanum again. I'm going to talk about a brand new game that just released this week called Heartworm. This is a brand new survival horror game
Ooh.
that I want to get the developer's name because I want to shout this person out. No, Steam, don't fucking play noise to me.
Might even
Hang on.
still have this pulled up from when you were telling us about it the other day. Let me see.
Okay, developer is Vincent Andinolfi. I am not 100% that I am pronouncing that correctly. That is either an Italian last name or possibly Spanish or Latin, some form of Latin-based language. And I am not confident that I am actually pronouncing that properly. But this game is basically developed by them and a couple of other people. This is a PS1 styled survival horror game in all of the best ways and all of the worst ways that you would expect a PS1 styled survival horror game to be made. Except this is brand new. So instead of having pre-rendered backgrounds like in Resident Evil or Silent Hill, everything is 3D rendered, but you're still dealing with, for the most part, completely fixed camera angles, and you need to use tank controls so that when the camera angle shifts, you're not like doubling back on where you were just moving because of like awkward movement controls. If you're like pressing left on the joystick to move left across the screen, and then the camera angle shifts, that left might actually be right. But if you're using tank controls and you're just pressing up, you're still moving forward. So tank controls are perfect for this game. I love that they have them as the standard default controls. They do have, quote, modern controls if you hate tank controls for whatever reason, but I feel like the majority of people that are playing this game are used to tank controls and are probably fine with that and should probably just play it with tank controls, because that's the way that this game is meant to be played as far as I'm concerned. There's another little thing that I want to get into where there's a couple of graphical settings. You can have this game look like it's a rendered 3D polygon game, and it looks good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. But it looks low poly because it is low poly, but you can also turn on pixelation, which makes it look like, if you play Resident Evil or any like PS1 game on a modern display, it looks very pixelated and kind of shitty. You can make this game look like that, and I played through half of the game making it look like that because that's how I'm used to survival horror games looking. I did go back and forth because I like both. I think they both look great. The pixelation looks awesome. The polygons look awesome also. This game is so faithful to the Resident Evil style that whenever you open a door, it has a door open animation. It cuts to the door open animation, and then it cuts back to you into the next screen. You can turn that off if you don't want to deal with that.
Cool.
I don't care. I love that. I left it on the entire time.
Nice. That's great.
True experience.
Yeah. So this game is made 100% for people who love classic survival horror, and I love this game. It's so good. So, story setup essentially is that you're this girl. I do not remember her name.
Sam,
It doesn't matter.
Jill.
And what's that?
Jill sandwich.
Yeah, she's a Jill sandwich.
I think it's Sam. I think
It is Sam. Yeah. That sounds right. Not a Jill sandwich. She does not get turned into a Jill sandwich.
Jill sandwich.
Max, you may not get that reference. That is a reference.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, you haven't played Resident Evil, okay.
Yeah.
So
in the original Resident Evil game, there's a room that you go into very early on where the ceiling starts to collapse down on top of you, and then Barry saves you, and he goes, "You were almost turned into a Jill sandwich."
okay. Nice.
Never gets old.
No, it's great. The voice acting is not corny in this game. Like those old, like even the first 3 Resident Evil games, the voice acting is not great. It's fitting for the B-moving flavor. The Silent Hill games 1 and 2, I think the voice acting is a little bit better just in terms of the quality. The voice acting in this game in Heartworm is really, really good. Your character is essentially has found out about like this dreamscape where you can meet the dead. And she is trying to, I think, meet back up with her mom who killed herself, or she's trying to meet back up with like a version of herself who killed herself. I'm not 100% sure on what exactly
Okay.
is going on
Mhm.
in this story, but the voice acting is really good. And you get a lot of like monologues from the main character, and then you meet a character later on who is voiced by uh there's a YouTube channel that I haven't shouted out, I don't think at all yet, called Sphere Hunter. This woman named Susie who makes a bunch of content about survival horror games. She voices one of the characters in this game later on, which is cool because like this is what she talks about on the internet all the time, is classic survival
Mhm.
horror like this. So it was cool to like hear her and like get this conversation between these two characters. So story's really good. I liked it for what it was, but this is in all sense of in every way a classic survival horror game. You are avoiding combat as much as you possibly can because the monsters are going to deal a lot of damage to you, and you don't have a lot of healing items until later in the game if you're used to playing these kind of games, and then you will have a lot of healing items. I had a lot of healing items by the end of this game because I'm used to playing horror games like this. And most of the pickups I found were more healing items rather than other useful things. But you have very limited ammo. I never felt like my ammunition supply was sufficient for anywhere that I was going that was new. And your ammo is film, and your weapon is a camera, and that's the only weapon that you have. So all the enemies are like, for the most part, at least at the beginning of the game, all the enemies that you find are like human shapes that are like TV static. So that like black and gray pixelation, that's what the enemies like,
Mhm.
that's just what they look like over the shape of a person.
Nice.
Um so, and you have to take pictures of them to defeat them. There's a few different varieties of them, and they have different attacks and whatnot. Um, so I didn't find the combat in this game very difficult. There are bosses. I didn't find the bosses very difficult. I don't think the bosses in most survival horror games of this genre, of this era at least, of the era that this game is emulating, I don't think most of those bosses were very difficult in the first place. Like the tyrant in Resident Evil, you run away, you turn around, you shoot at him, you'll eventually defeat him. The same thing with all the bosses in Silent Hill. You turn around, you run away, then you turn back and you shoot at them. You'll defeat them eventually. So the bosses aren't and the combat is not the main focus of a game like this. It's the exploration and the puzzles. And that's where this game is really good. Like this feels like a classic game like that, where it's just a giant puzzle box and you need to find a specific item to open a specific door, or you need to find a specific code somewhere within the environment to solve a puzzle to be able to progress forward within the game. All of that feels really, really good. There was one puzzle that I got stuck on, and I'll just say that it has something to do with uh music and like
Yeah.
music like written music, and I can't read music, and so like that was a little bit of an issue for me, so I had to look up that solution. I thought I had the solution. Turns out I was slightly wrong on how I was interpreting it. The game tries to give you enough information to be able to make you be able to solve that by yourself. I spent more time than I was willing to invest into trying to solve a music puzzle. So
Mhm.
I just looked up the answer and got through it. Which I'm also of the opinion that like if you can't find the solution to a puzzle and you've spent 20 to 40 minutes on it, maybe an hour on it, and you can't find what you're supposed to do, can't find the solution to the puzzle, look up a fucking guide, get through the
Yeah.
game. It's better to get through the game than to just abandon a game because you can't solve one stupid fucking puzzle.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um Yeah. I do you have any questions? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any questions before I continue about this game?
I don't. I think
feel-
I have exactly. I think like I have the
Mhm.
exact picture of it in my head of what it probably is based on what how you've described it.
Yeah.
You talk about like photography, right?
Yes.
Does is it any comparable to Fatal Frame? Have you played those games? Like
I have not actually
Okay.
played Fatal Frame. I know of them, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not played them because I don't own them and they're kind of expensive these days.
Yep.
I would compare it to Fatal Frame just in the fact that like you have to take pictures of your enemies, and sometimes in order to do that, you kind of have to be close to them to be able to get a picture of them.
Okay.
When you go to take a picture, it kind of zooms the camera from whatever fixed camera position to like an over the shoulder behind your character position, and then it puts up a reticle on screen.
Yeah.
And then you aim that to be able to take your photos. So that can be a little bit stressful, just having enemies bearing down on you and you're like snapping photos and you're like, oh god, it's right next to me, is it going to die? Like, have I taken enough photos of it for it to die yet or not?
Do you have any ammunition? Is it
Oh yeah, you have film. The
Okay.
game takes place in the 90s, so you're not using a digital camera. You're using a film-based camera. You have a roll of 24 photos in your camera that you can use, and then you
I
have
think
to
it's
find
basically
more
the
film.
same. Yeah, it's basically the same as Fatal Frame. I've not played those games, but I know of them. I think
Yeah.
it's basically the same system.
Sounds like I haven't played those either, but it sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some of the environments are like very wide open, and like you're going into a bunch of different individual buildings, which is why I would compare it in some ways to Silent Hill. And some of the other environments are very tight and claustrophobic and just within one building. And that's where it feels more like Resident Evil. Like it really feels like it's a mishmash of just all these classic games put together from somebody who loves these classic games. And I'm a fan of classic Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil 1's my favorite game of all time. I replay that game about once a year, and I will constantly replay that game and just sing its praises. And I'm gonna sing this game's praises. The S tier. Absolutely S tier.
Cool.
It's fucking fantastic. If anything that I've said, if you like classic survival horror games, you will like what this game is doing. I guarantee it. It's really, really good. It's so faithful. I might play it again. I got a D rank on my first playthrough, and that's not a very good rank. So there's a very strong possibility I play through it again and try to get a better score, because much like Resident Evil, you get a score at the end of the game, and a D rank's not very good. I'd like at least a B. A B would be nice.
yes, it would be.
It sounds
All right.
awesome.
Heartworm.
It's so good.
Heartworm S tier.
Yeah. So I had actually to take a minor sidetrack. I had purchased 3 brand new games that all released within the same week to talk about on the podcast, because I wanted to be like up to date and like talking about weird new stuff that was being released. And Arcanum just has stuck in me so hard I was not able to play all 3 of these games. So I got to one of them. I spent about maybe close to 10 hours playing Heartworm. Which is 10 hours that I didn't play Arcanum, which kind of feels bad a little bit. But it was worth it. It's this game's 100% my shit. Like I love this style of game. So
Yeah, I think I will probably check that out at some point because it sounds great.
yeah, definitely do it. Rob, what else have you been playing?
All right, I have also been playing along with Babysitting Mania. I played Super Seducer. This is this came out in 2018.
Okay.
It's PC game, not surprisingly. This is it's kind of hard to describe. So it's an FMV game. It's a modern FMV game.
Okay.
Fully acted by real actors and stuff. The concept of the game is you are like put in these scenarios with women and trying to pick women up. Basically, it's kind of like a pickup artist game, sort of. There's this guy kind of like walking you through the whole thing, like telling you how to pick up chicks. And so it puts you in these various situations with. So let me back up a little bit. The creator of this game, I discovered, owns and runs like a pickup artist business of his own.
Okay.
And he is also the main character of the game. He is like the male character that you are directing throughout the game.
Okay.
Along with being the male character that you're directing, he's also he's sort of like a host character who's like maybe like kind of like a host character who's telling you what you've done right and wrong every time you make a decision. So, for instance, it throws you in a scenario, and like the goal in every scenario is to say the right things to these women and just like, get them to like convince them to maybe like just give you their number, or like, commit to going on a date sometime or something like that. Just kind of do your best without fumbling and making yourself look like an idiot.
Uh-huh.
So there are 10 scenarios, and each scenario has maybe 10 to 20 sort of like decision points where it's like, what do you do now? So like the first one, for instance, it's you're just walking down the sidewalk and you're crossing paths with some girl, and it's like, all right, say you want to try to talk to this girl and see if you can get her to go out on a date with you or talk to you or something. What do you do? And like the first thing is like, so how should you approach her? And the option, and in most of the cases, there are, of course, correct options. There are incorrect options. And then about half the time, there are like just completely off the wall responses just to be funny. So it might be like, so what should you do? And one of the answers is to, like what kind of approach her at an angle and like say, hi, how are you doing? One of the other options might be follow her for 2 blocks and then introduce yourself. So, you pick the wrong one, and it cuts to a scene of him. So whenever you make a decision, it cuts away to him, and he's in a bedroom, sitting on a bed, telling you what you did right or wrong. If you got it completely wrong, he's just sitting there on the bed, and he's explaining to you, like, no, that's not going to work, because they're going to feel like creeped out by you if you do that. If you pick like, sometimes there's a right answer and like a better right answer.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick the right answer, then there are 2 ladies just like hanging around sitting in bed while he's telling you what you did basically right, but it could have been better. If you pick the best option, the same 2 ladies are sitting in bed with him, but they're like half undressed. And none of them do anything ever through the entire game. They sit there and look bored as hell in every single cutscene where he's giving you advice, telling you what you did right or wrong. It actually kind of made me uncomfortable because they're just sitting there staring off, like not even really, like one of them is usually kind of looking at the camera, one's in the background just kind of staring at almost like at the wall, it seems like. That part of it is kind of weird, but I got this game, I was like, hey, this is good. I was talking with my friend Mike on Discord. I was like, hey, I think this is probably going to be pretty funny. Do you want to watch me play it for a few minutes? And he was like, yeah. So I was streaming it for him. And 2 things stood out to us. One, there are times where the game is just absolutely laugh out loud hilarious based on the ridiculous options that you have to choose from. It's like one of them is like, you're on a date with a girl. Like, it's like, so say you've gotten a girl to go out with you on a date. The conversation has gotten to this point. What do you like? Which of these things do you think is the best thing to say to her at this point? And like, one of the things is like to say, hey, look, I really like you, but I just want you to know there's one thing that's really important to me. If I'm going to be with the girl, I really need to know that she's going to be willing to sleep with all of my friends also. And of course, like the girl freaks out, and the guy tells you, and then it cuts to the guy, him telling you why that was a bad decision. But like it's the guy doing the like, you know, taking your part and like doing all the things you tell him to do. His delivery is so casual and just so hilarious. Like it comes off so funny every single time he says one of these ridiculous things.
Let me ask you. So when you pick one of these options, does it play out the scene of like him saying that thing to the girl and then cuts to him in the bedroom and being like, okay, because that's funny.
Yeah, it cuts to him saying it, and then it shows the girl's reaction. It's usually like slapping you and running off or something like that. You know, there's one where like you're at a nightclub and this girl's dancing, and you kind of like, it's like, okay, how do you approach her? And it's like you choose like the way to approach her on the dance floor, and it's like, what do you want to say? And the key is to like not try to carry him on too much conversation at this point, because she's trying to dance. She doesn't want to like have a whole conversation right there. And then it's later, it's like, all right, what's the next thing you want to say? And one of the things you can say is like, hey, I noticed there's an unlocked janitor's closet. Do you want to go in there and have sex? And the guy's like, hey, you know, yeah, that's cool. You know, well, so I just noticed this. And the guy's British, by the way, which, as Mike pointed out, that's probably half of what helps somebody be successful at the times that he is successful, at saying the right thing. And he's like, you know, so I just noticed there's a door over there. And I checked it out. There's a janitor's closet and it's unlocked. And so like, yeah, I just thought, you know, like maybe we could go in there and have sex. You seem like you're down for it. And, you know, once again, obviously that's the wrong thing to say. But aside from that, what we were also surprised by is how good of actors the women were. Like, they were very, very natural, like almost convincingly realistic. That is for the first half of the game. For the second half of the game, it's like the game starts off really funny and like really well made, and it kind of gradually gets worse as you play through it. The first like 5 scenarios are about like that, and then the last 5, like the acting starts to get kind of bad. The guy's responses, the guy's explanations of what you did wrong get like briefer and briefer. And so like the last half isn't nearly as good as the first. And it's like some of the scenarios seem a little bit lazier. But like the first few parts, I'm trying to think of a few other examples. Oh, there's one part where it's like there's this girl and this scenario is like, how do you get a girl who you've been friends with a long time to start like maybe having a romantic interest in you? And so there's this part where, you know, you're kind of talking to her, and then it's like cuts to a few weeks later, and she tells you, hey, I want to come talk to you. I just broke up with my boyfriend, and I just need someone to talk to you right now. And so she comes over to your house, and you're sitting there talking to her, and it's like giving you these options on what you should try to do to comfort her. And one of the things is say, I bought you a tree. And the guy's like, well, I know you're going through a really hard time, but I got you something. I think this might help. And he walks off, and he literally walks back carrying like a lemon tree and like a little plant that, like a little pot that, you know, like one of those little plastic pots that you would get it from the hardware store or something at. And she's just kind of like, oh, okay, thanks. There's lots of just really funny stuff like that. There's one on how to be a good wingman. And one of the things you can do, like you get your buddy to kind of go start talking to these girls first, and then you get to choose your entrance. And one of the options is like walk up and pretend to throw up on the girls. And so the guy just walks up and he just like leans over. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just like starts like pretending to vomit on them, and they get all mad and run off. There's a lot more like kind of intense and risque things that happen. There's no nudity or anything or sex or like anything like that in the game. It's all just, there are things where like nudity is implied specifically on the guy's part when you can tell him to do specific stuff, but there's not actual any nudity in the game. One more thing that did surprise me is like a lot of the times, all the like hilarious and ridiculous stuff aside, he actually seems to give like fairly, if you're so clueless that you need it like advice on like why it's bad to try kissing a girl within 5 minutes of meeting her, he actually does a good job of explaining like, no, like you need to like slow it down a little bit. Women are not going to be like receptive to that. You need like wait until they're giving you some kind of cues that they're more comfortable with you and maybe interested before you like try going into to something like that. So like for someone who needs it, the advice he gives is actually not all that bad a lot of the time.
All right.
Cool.
It was a
I
very
do have-
kind of shit.
game. Yeah.
I do have 2 questions for you, Rob.
Yes.
First one, you touched on that, but what have you learned playing Super Seducer?
What I learned not to pretend to throw up on girls. I learned
never
that
thought
if
about that either. Yeah.
if you are approaching a girl and she like at a bar and she's like with a friend, don't just walk up behind him and like stare at him like this and wait for them to respond to you. Like don't expose yourself, just out of nowhere. Those are kind of the main takeaways for me.
Yeah. Pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Don't chat.
Yeah.
If they say they just ate hamburgers before coming out to the bar, don't chastise them for that and convince them that they should try to be vegan. That was another thing that you're not supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
Yeah.
Second question. Have you played this game with your 16-year-old?
No, I have not. I did show my wife the first scenario because I thought it was too funny to not show her. She thought it was funny, but she was also like, "Okay, I'm good." Like, I was like, "No, there's more. Like, watch this." And she's like, "No, I'm fine."
When you play those games, are you like late at night alone in your setup that you are right now at your desk?
I'm in this. I'm at my desk. I don't think I think like the first night I played it. Yeah, it was late at night, and I was streaming it, and Mike was watching. I actually think most of the rest of the time that I played it, it was during the daytime.
Okay. All right. Good.
Is that clear? Is that cleared up?
Yep. Yeah.
There are 2 sequels to this game.
Mhm.
Super Seducer 2 and Super Seducer 3. Super Seducer 3, Steam rejected it. And it's not really 100% clear why, but Steam rejected it, and then they tried resubmitting it, and then they gave them like a carte blanche rejection, where it's like, don't bring it back to us again. I don't know why, and it's from what I've read that the guy who made it doesn't really understand why either. But you can still get it. I think you can still get Super Seducer 3 on itch.
Yeah, I've checked that.
Okay, so it's still there. It's still around. It's just not on Steam, and I think he's moved on to other things. I did find the guys in game, like in the menu and stuff. There's a link to his Instagram account, and it's a lot of pictures of him shirtless, like doing things. So that's cool.
Yeah, we should start that too. I think.
Yeah,
that would
if you're
help a
into
lot.
that,
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a handsome British dude. Why not?
Yeah.
Just go all in.
He has long
All
hair.
right.
Yeah, he's got long. Yeah, he's got long hair. He's got a great British voice. But again, like his delivery on some of these things is really, really funny. Like I kind of would I would recommend this game. It is worth if you can get it on. I forgot how much. I didn't pay more than probably $12 for it. If you can get it on sale, it's worth playing around with. It's a very funny game.
Oh, and for the tier list, you have to give it a letter.
I think this is fine. Also, like
Yeah,
I was
alright.
expecting it just to be absolute trash. But like it's actually pretty well made. It's very funny. Like I said, some of the acting is actually impressively good. Just to like choose, just to go through it and choose every worst option you can, and listen to him say the
Yeah.
things and do the things. It was.
Right.
I got a lot of good laughs out of this.
Oh, you went from caring for babies to making babies. So great
Exactly.
range on your choices.
Yeah.
All right. I do have one more game for this episode, and it's Dark Souls 2. So I know you don't like the color scheme of this game, Rob, but
It's too great.
yeah, it's too gray. But yeah, I came back from Pittsburgh. My brother picked me up, and when we were at home, I was just browsing through my Steam library, and was like, "Oh man, I got the hitch to go back to Dark Souls."
You
Like
got
I
it.
played the first one at the beginning of the year, and I really really liked it. And I was like, "Okay." My brother never played the Dark Souls games. I was like, "Do you feel like giving this a shot?" So we just started the game together, just passing the
Oh, that's
controller
cool.
around for a bit, and I got immediately hooked back in the game. I was like, okay, yeah,
That'll happen.
I really like this shit. Somehow, I thought I would like at the beginning of the year. I thought I would hate Dark Souls. I was just giving it a try to like know what the game was about. But
Mhm.
now I'm fully hooked. Like I like Souls game. Basically, that's what I'm learning right now. Dark Souls 2 starts kind of slow. There's a lot like of. uh, I know Rob, you did not play this game. I think you just tried the first one.
Just
But
only tried the first one, yeah.
yeah, you Chris, did I know you just beaten the first Dark Souls, but what's the rest of your experience with the series?
Okay, so Dark Souls 2 is the only Dark Souls that I've not beaten. I've played it for about 10 or 15 hours on the original PS3 version.
Mm-hmm.
I've beaten 5, 6 bosses, something like that. Like, so I'm not super deep into it, but when I was doing that, I fell off of it. I guess I wasn't just really in the mood for what
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls is at the time that I was playing it. But I've beaten Dark Souls 3, I've beaten Bloodborne, I've beaten Elden Ring, and I've beaten Dark Souls 1. So
Okay.
Dark Souls 2 is the black sheep that I've not beaten, and then I've never even played Sekiro. But that's like
Okay.
so totally different. So
Yeah.
Isn't Dark Souls 2 supposed to be like the least favorite, like most people's least favorite of the three?
That's what I
some people say
heard.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly I cannot really tell why I'm not really well versed in like the culture around Dark Souls, but
hmm
from what I've been playing, it feels a lot like just more Dark Souls 1.
Yeah,
Like
it's just more Dark
Okay.
Souls.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like it's different. Like I think so far I really like Dark Souls 1's better because I think the map in the first Dark Souls is just fantastic the way that it's set
Yeah.
up, and I think I like the enemy AI a little bit more. In the second game, there's a lot of situations where you're just aggroed by like 5 different enemies at the same time, and you just have to
Yep.
deal with a bunch of enemies. And I feel like you need to be closer to the enemies to like dodge their attacks and stuff. If you play like further away, I feel like I get touched way more than in Dark Souls 1, where I was playing a bit more like farther away and poking with
Mhm.
my halberd.
Yeah, that totally
And
makes sense. If I could interject for just a second, I would say
yeah,
that you're definitely, from my experience, you're definitely right about that. And then as they progressed forward after Dark Souls 2, like Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring both play a lot more similarly, where like it pays to be a little bit more aggressive and to be in that more aggressive situation, but your character also moves a little bit faster
hmm
to be able to handle those more aggressive situations, whereas Dark Souls 2 really starts to push you into those more aggressive situations, but doesn't necessarily give you the tools to always be able to handle them like the later
hmm
games do.
that kind of makes sense. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So I started the game, played like through the tutorial section, and then I straightly went to 80's Tower, which is like a big section with a lot of large characters that have like a lot of HP. And I stuck in that I was stuck in that section for like 4 hours. 3 or 4 hours. And like I knew I could run past everything and just go straight to the boss, but I felt like I wasn't learning the patterns and everything.
Mhm.
Like I knew that I would get in trouble later on if I wasn't like figuring this first section out before I actually got further into the game. So I just stuck with it, and one by one, like each of the enemies have slightly different attack patterns. The first one, you really have to be like close to his ass. He's kind of easy as long as you stay behind. You cannot really get hit. The second one, you do have to do a bit more of the dodge rolls because he will like turn around really quickly at some point. And the third one with the big sword will actually do like spin attacks around him. So you kind of have to go in and then go back out, and so there I took the time to learn those patterns, and like I said, I think at first I had trouble because in Dark Souls 1 I was playing with a halberd, a very long weapon, and I was just poking from far away, and that straight up didn't work. Especially since I had just a sword at that point, so I really had to change my way of playing Dark Souls. But once I figured that out, I felt like my experience with Dark Souls 1 really translated to Dark Souls 2, where I found most of the situations fairly easy, where I just go ahead, deal with the enemies one by one, and I can just go further. And then most of the bosses only take me like 2 or 3 tries every time. So I'm really not in the same mood as I was when I was playing Dark Souls 1, where everything was new to me and everything was really challenging the first time I was coming into like new enemies and new patterns. Right now, I kind of know what those patterns can be and how to address those. So it really feels like Dark Souls, more Dark Souls. But at the same time, I really like Dark Souls, so I really like playing this game, and it feels rewarding to know that the effort that I put in the first game is translating into the second one. From what I've heard, I started in the wrong section of the game. I should have like went left into the forest where it's a bunch of smaller enemies, a bit like the first section of Dark Souls 1. So that's a bit on my part, but it did help me grind a lot and get a lot of souls because those big bosses gave like 400 souls a piece, and it takes a while before the amount of souls you need to level up ramps up. So I could like really early get into the level 30s and stuff and get a lot of strength and be able to play a bit more in my style where I do a lot of damage quickly, so I don't have to fight the enemies for so long because I'm really bad at learning patterns. So now I've done the tower. I think I've gone through that whole section. I went like to the pirate section, the Bastille, and beaten the last sinner, which is like the last boss of that like path of the game. I think I've done everything in the forest. I didn't have like a final boss. I did not find one, but I cannot go anywhere else in that forest. So I unlocked like another path, and now I'm going through like it's like a ghost section where I just pass where there are like invisible enemies that you cannot lock in, and that's about where I am right now. I'm like level 72, and I'm playing with like a giant sword, a bit like in Final Fantasy VII, where with it's Cloud. I'm really bad with names and characters, but
Buster Sword.
Yeah, so I'm playing with a big ass sword and just like just plowing through enemies. And yeah, I'm just having so much fun. It's like if I did not have a YouTube channel and had to do a lot of video editing and stuff because I have a big video coming, I would be like playing Dark Souls 2 nonstop. I'm just really hooked on the game. I like.
Oh wow, so you're really hooked. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the challenge. I find the game pretty relaxing in that sense. Like I know it's not going to be super easy, and I need to learn and be patient. And once I'm in that mood, it's just like it's fairly easy to me it's fairly easy to me to just go into that loop and start playing the game and having fun with that. And every time I find something that's more challenging, well, I know from like Dark Souls 1, there's always another path or another strategy that I can have
Mhm.
Often you can find a friend goes to summon. You can just
Yep.
get more abilities to like attack from a distance. You can upgrade your strength. There's always another strategy. If what you're doing doesn't work, you're most likely not doing the right stuff at that moment, and you can like pivot and learn to do it another way. So
Have you
that's what
put
I
any
like.
points into adaptability yet?
Yes, from
Okay.
what I've heard, it does give you a lot more iframes when you dodge roll.
Yep.
And yeah,
That's the
that
weird
made
thing about Dark Souls 2 that most people that a lot of people don't like is that the higher your adaptability, the more iframes you get. And it's not like it doesn't increase by like a lot, right? It might be like if your adaptability is super low, you have like 7 invincibility frames, but if it's a little bit higher, you have like 10. But
yeah,
Ah,
it does make a
7
lot of
frames
difference.
compared to 10 is a significant difference when it comes to hitboxes within a game that's running at 60 FPS. So,
Oh
or
yeah,
30 FPS or whatever it is. So it
absolutely.
does make a difference for sure.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's Dark Souls 2. It's more Dark Souls. I'm
Yep.
liking it. Like the only thing I didn't really like going through the game was the Estus flask. You start with just like one refill to get your health back, and
Mhm.
that felt really limiting. You really have to like find those to be able to get back life more quickly and more often. So that felt a bit cheeky on their part. Like, of course, those enemies are tough. I need to get my health back somehow. I cannot just like
Right, yeah.
be perfect from the get-go. So that was a bit frustrating at the beginning, but now I have like six Estus flasks, so it's not really a problem anymore. So right now I'm just enjoying the game. I think I'm only like a third of the way through. So from what I've heard, this one is really long. I think the first one took me like 45 hours, and I think I will have to sink like 60 hours in this one to beat it. So
Yeah,
oh,
that's
really?
what I
Okay.
understand is that this one's a little bit longer.
so yeah, that's Dark Souls 2. Any questions before it goes into the tier list?
So, as of now, do you like it more or less than Dark Souls 1?
Less. Yeah, Dark Souls 1.
That's the right answer.
I think that's the most common answer, and I think it's objectively the right answer.
Look, I don't
I-
think Dark Souls 2 is a bad game. I
Mhm.
don't think it's a bad game at all. Like I think it's unfairly maligned by people
Mhm.
online where people will say that it's like, "Oh, it's the worst thing FromSoft has ever made." And it's like, "No,
No,
no, not
no.
at all. Like it's still a very
I'm really
good game."
having fun with the game. I think Dark Souls 1 is really special. There's really something
Yes.
special about Dark Souls 1, about the map, the design, the bosses. It's
Mhm.
really well balanced in a way. But at the same time, it's also the first one I played. If I started with Dark Souls 2, maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe I could have like a different opinion. Like the first Dark
Right.
Souls that you play will be special because you're learning for the first time that hard, grindy mentality. So
I mean,
I think that's
maybe.
also. I think that also elevated the first one because I was learning so much and having new experiences that I'm not having right now
Right.
because I had those with Dark Souls 1.
Okay.
So I think
Makes
you
sense.
might be right to some extent, but like I Dark Souls 1 was my first Souls game, but I like Demon Souls and Elden Ring better than Dark Souls 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And Demon Souls came before it, and Elden Ring came
yeah,
way fucking after it. So
yeah.
I think you might be right to some extent, but I think Demon Souls is a very special game also, just in
Mm-hmm.
a very different way in comparison to Dark Souls 1. Definitely does not have that interconnected map that you love so much
Yeah.
from Dark Souls.
Mhm.
Like that is really special. Like Dark Souls 1 is very, very special for that map. That's a fantastic world map.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's all I have to
I
say
will
on it.
say this game is fairly more gray than the first Dark Souls. I think you would not
more
like.
gray than Dark Souls.
Yeah. It's significant. I was playing. I was like, would Rob call this gray? And I was like, yeah, it's gray.
Yeah. It's pretty gray.
Yeah, it's pretty gray.
Okay, pretty gray.
Yep. All right.
It's
So
good,
Dark
though.
Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin will go into great games for now, and I will wait until the end of the game to see if I push it to absolute bangers. But I think it's
perfect.
a tier lower than the first Dark Souls.
Perfect.
All right.
Rob, you have one more game for us. What do you got?
I do have one more. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Rift Wizard 2. This is not really so much a trashy game. It's just more of a off the beaten path game is how I would describe this one. This came out January of this year.
Sweet.
Rift Wizard 1, I think, came out in, I forgot. I would have to go back and double check. I don't think it's been that long. This is a traditional style roguelike, where it is very simple graphics, almost not ASCII graphics, but reminiscent of ASCII graphics. Everything is just a very small little like tile. I want to say they're maybe 8x8, like 8x8 tiles, on the map, and like and everything, every monster fits on one of those tiles. So everybody is really tiny. Well, I take it back. There are a few bosses that take like, I don't know, 2x3 tiles or something like that. But regardless, you get the idea.
It looks like the original one was 2020. So 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Cool. This is a game that I've been wanting to check. I have not played the first one. I've been wanting to check this. Actually, I had the first one on my wish list for a while. This is the kind of game that I really like. I just never got to it. Then this one came out, and I just decided to try this one first. And I got seriously hooked on this game. It is so the whole kind of the way the game goes is it's, as I said, it's a traditional style roguelike. The maps are generated on the fly, a little bit different each run. It's turn-based, so like as long as you're not moving, none of the bad guys are moving around. You move one tile, everybody else does something. You attack, everybody else does something. Whatever you do in action, everybody else gets a turn. You are just a wizard, and you have these spells, and the goal is simply to kill all the bad guys on each level. Then you go to the next one. Specifically, you have to kill all the bad guys as well as all of the spawners, which spawn more mobs at you every 5 turns or so, 5 or 6 or 7 turns or something like that. And they will spawn bad guys indefinitely. So, of course, you want to take them out as soon as you can, so you have less bad guys to deal with. You also have a limited number of casts for each spell. So it's kind of like a spell slot system almost, where like you have a spell, and it's like, all right, you can cast this 12 times. And so obviously you have to kill all of the spawners and bad guys before you're out of spells, or else there's just nothing you can do about it and you lose. Every level, every time you complete a level, there are 3, I think they're called rift gates or something like that. You can basically go choose one of 3 different levels to go to next. So you can kind of look and see what, like there are little mirror looking things. You go to each one, kind of step on it, and you can see what the next level looks like if you go through that one. If it doesn't look like something you are equipped for, then you can back out and go and look at a different one and kind of choose the one that best fits the build that you've kind of come up with for this run. And that's kind of the big thing about this game, is the vast variety of builds you can outfit your character with on any run whatsoever. So unlike many games like this, there is no, you are not gated in any way, well, in almost any way, by what spell. You can choose any spells, any run. The entire list of spells is always available to you. Whereas, a lot of games like this, it's like you might find certain spells, and then you kind of have to figure out how to make those work together best. This one is kind of the opposite. You can choose any spell. What you have to be careful with is which level you choose to go to next. Because you might look at a level and be like, okay, this one has a lot of narrow hallways, or this one has a lot of open areas, or this one has a lot of guys that are resistant to lightning or fire. So I need to choose a spell that's going to help me tackle this next level. The way you get spells is every level there are two, and later there are more little spherical orbs, and each one gives you a spell point. And as you pick those up, you can spend those on spells like that are basically in this big ass spell book. The crazy thing about this game is there are 170 spells in the game. There are also 50 passives that you can choose. Again, you can just choose from it at any time. The only restriction is some of them cost more than others. So, of course, you can't buy, if you want one that costs 4 of these spell points, you have to wait until you've gotten 4 of these little spell orbs. And as I said, on the first like 7 or 8 levels, something like that, there's 2 on each level, and later there's 3. Maybe I think there's probably more later on. So it's very, very fun just experimenting with all the different combinations of spells to kind of see what works best. Because again, on any given run, you can choose any of the spells whatsoever. So there are spells where there are runs where I was experimenting with a build where you put down these stationary lightning little rods basically that shoot a certain number of bad guys every single turn, and they're really powerful, but you only get 5 of them and they can only stay in this one spot. Or you can get more traditional spells like, I like cast, an area of effect flame spell on, everybody in like a 2 tile wide area, or like something as simple as magic missile where it does a lot more damage, but it only hits one guy. It's a very straightforward spell. There's ice spells that freeze guys. There are spells where it's like one of the ones that I also like playing around with a lot is Nightmare Aura. And you can only cast it twice, but it damages everybody around you every turn for like 7 turns or something like that. There are lots of kind of summoning and necromancing spells. So you can like have one where if you kill a guy with this particular spell, he'll raise up as a skeleton and fight for you. There are ones where you can summon dragons, where you can summon ghosts, where you can summon slimes. There's the slime one, like the slimes will replicate after so many turns. So that's like a crazy one where if you kind of find a level where you can start off in a corner sort of by yourself, then you can sit there and spawn that and spam that spell a few times, get a whole bunch of slimes helping you, and then just kind of go out, kind of walk out and see if your army of slimes can kill everybody. Then there are, many spells that synergize with other spells. There are spells where it's like, okay, well, if you have a build where you have a lot of summons or a lot of slimes or whatever, then here's another spell that for like 5 turns, like doubles all of your summons strength and lets them do double damage or something like that. There's ones where, like, say you're doing a lightning build. There's a spell where you cast it, and like every time somebody gets hit by lightning, then that branches and hits 5 more guys with lightning. So the whole key of the game is finding spells that work really well together, and also that work well with the rooms that have kind of been randomly generated for you to go into. And again, there's passives also. They're usually more expensive because their passive is like an always on spell basically, but there's those as well. Along with that, there's also equipment that you can find on some of the levels, and a lot of those will also kind of direct your build. Like if you get a piece of, like I had one that it was a piece of equipment where if you have this one particular spell, that spell was, it's like a doom spell basically, and it puts a counter on somebody, and it like waits 4 turns, and then it does like an absolutely insane amount of damage to them. I found an item that if I have that spell, then every time I enter a level, wherever I enter on that floor, like the 4 or like it's like everybody within a 8 tile radius automatically gets that spell cast on them. So that was like super powerful. So it's very fun to play through, see what kind of items you get, see like how that kind of dictates what your build is going to be like for the game, and then just try to go and see how far you can get. I think there are 25 levels. This is a very tough game, kind of in the tradition of games like this. It took me a while to get 7 levels in. I had one
Oof.
really strong run where I got like 14 levels in. And like I said, there's 25. I'm really hoping to eventually beat it someday. I don't think that'll be anytime soon, but like I have just really been hooked on this game. It is, if you like these types of games, this is one of, like, not even just with the caveat of it being a newer one of these, just all around, this is one of the best ones I've played.
That sounds awesome if you like roguelikes, which I
Yes.
notoriously don't. So
Yeah.
it sounds like something that I would fucking hate.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna win you over. The only, for you specifically, the only reason I would say it's different is that you do have access to everything all the time, and it's just a matter of experimenting with it.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's fair.
you're not
That's
really,
fair.
it's not like, oh, I just found this sword or that
That does sound interesting.
wand. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, probably still not going to win you over. You have to like this kind of stuff, especially given how
Yeah.
difficult it is. You're just going to be like, this sucks. But for if you're like me and you like this stuff, this is one of the best roguelikes I have played, period.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Like, put that shit out there into the world. Like, let people know this is a good roguelike. If you like
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. If you
It's a good
I
one.
really, and I specifically tend to gravitate toward the more traditional style ones as well.
Right.
Like I would like Hades, for instance. I thought that was really good. It just isn't my personal flavor of
Yeah.
roguelike, I guess, so to speak. But for like the ones that look like this, that have really simple graphics, that are turn based and all that, I just have a soft spot for these, and this is an absolutely great one.
Sweet. So, are you putting this in the A tier in a great game?
This is an absolute banger.
Oh, you're putting it in the
Wow.
S tier. You think
I'm
it's a
putting-
banger? Okay.
It is an absolute banger. Yeah.
Okay.
That
Excellent.
is awesome. Yeah.
I was very, very happy. Once I started playing with it, I was like, this is just doing everything I want.
Perfect. Yeah. If you think it's that good, if anybody likes roguelikes, this sounds like the one for them.
Mr. Mo, I'm talking to you.
He surely
We
knows
know you're
about it.
listening.
There's I don't know if you played this one, but there's a free one for Pico 8 called Pork-like, which is basically that kind of game. It's really like simple, classic 8-bit like dungeon crawling, turn by turn movement.
Uh-huh.
It's really, I did not
This
beat
looks
it.
cool.
I tried to beat it like last year, and I got fairly deep, but yeah, I lost at some point. I think you would like that. It's pretty, like, it's scaled down since it's on Pico 8, but for the engine, the system, it's pretty impressive, and I think it's pretty fun.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out to my favorite roguelike, which is called Brogue. And the only reason I'm specifically pointing it out is because it's so fun. Like, so first off, it sounds like a play on words, like bro rogue, but that's not actually what it is. The guy who made it was named Brian, and it was kind of like, he kind of like
Brian
forked it
Rogue.
off of Rogue, so he just called it Brogue. But what's funny about Brogue is that it's not on like any traditional game platform. Like, it's not on Steam, it's not on itch. Even if you search for Brogue, like, you won't find it. You have to do a search for Brogue game, and then it takes you to like a Google Documents download site or something like that.
Wow.
And you have to download it from there. And but like, this game has like a huge community. It's generally is widely considered among roguelike fans like one of the best ones, but it's just like so obscure to actually find and download.
Yeah, I think you talked about it on your
On
podcast.
CGP. Yeah.
Probably. I'm sure I have.
Yeah. I remember you talking about it for sure.
Okay. Yeah, there it is again.
Nice.
Rogue.
Perfect. Well, that's a really top-heavy episode. 3 bangers,
Yeah.
2 good games, and 2 somehow fine game in Super Seducer and Babysitting Mania.
Look, Babysitting Mania doesn't seem bad. That seems like I could see myself buying that. That you got that for $4 complete in box?
Yeah.
I would pay $4 for that cartridge. It sounds fine. Like,
yeah, it was. I was very surprised by how acceptable it was.
yeah, this sounds more than reasonable. There's a very strong possibility that ends up back on the show at some point in time when I pick it up and I throw it on into my DS. So
That would be great.
But that's it for games. We've talked about the games. Let's move into some hobby time. Max, you got more hobby on here than the rest of us. Why don't you go ahead and start talking?
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna talk about golf videos in the loot
Yeah.
box. So I watched some golf content and I really felt like I wanted to go to the driving range, just shoot some balls. So I did call up my cousin. I already told you that, but yeah, I called my cousin and decided to go to the driving range, like a bit on a whim on a Wednesday night. I went with my daughter actually. There's like a free mini golf right beside the range, so she did play like mini golf while we were uh, shooting balls, and it did went pretty poorly. I
Yeah.
was slicing like I think few people sliced the way I sliced on that day, and I hit few good shots, but I think there's hope. Like I think I can work on my swing, work on my feet placement, maybe cheat a little bit to just get that little edge on the way I hit the ball. Like
Mhm.
I've played baseball my whole like life when I was young. So like from
Mhm.
5 to 18, I played baseball every summer. So I do have like a tendency of using my arms when I swing the way I use my arms when I swing a baseball bat, which means that I just like get my arms close to my chest more
Right,
than
yeah.
extending my arms like you should do in golf. So
Yep.
I think that's the main reason I slice so much, because I do have like that left to right motion on the ball, and then that gives it spin and it just spins way the fuck to the left. So yeah, I'm really interested in going to the range more, working on my swing, and I'm really thinking about doing a golf video next year. So I'm really like, I did a list of my videos idea for my channel for like the next few years, like ideas I have. And I want to continue my series of doing a bunch of shit in a single day. And I think eating a bunch of par nines around my city in a single day would be really fun. So I will try to work
Oh,
on
that's a
that
lot.
goal for maybe like next summer. Yeah.
Maybe try and hit a bunch of par nines in a single week instead of a single day, because like a par nine might take you 2 to 3 hours if you're kind of shit, and if you have people
Yeah.
in front of you who are slow.
True.
So if you might get through 2 in a day, but if you got 7 courses, it might take you a few days to actually get through all of them.
Yeah.
If you have
Maybe in a
12
single,
courses, it might take a
maybe in a
week.
single weekend. I did
Yeah.
find like 6, maybe 7, depending like on what definition I would give. Like
Mhm.
if I really go on public courses where you don't have to be a member, there's like 6 and technically 7 that you can hit. And yeah, depending if like you go fairly fast and don't like I know I'm not really good, but if you go kind of fast, you can go through that 9 hole in 2 hours. That gives
Right.
you like enough time, but that's like a 14-hour day of golf. Like you start at 8 in the morning of the lowest time that you can have, and you hit like the latest start that you can
Yeah.
have. So
Yeah, I'm just
I
saying,
think
like,
yeah,
there's always that possibility you have like a 5-top in front of you who's like
absolutely.
drinking beer and smoking weed the entire time and taking their
Oh
sweet
yeah,
ass
yeah, yeah.
time on the tee box, and
I know.
you'll be you don't want to end up behind those guys and not let them like and have them be like one of those crews that don't want to let the smaller team through, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
But that's a
Maybe
fun
not a
also, going
single
those-
day.
But yeah, maybe
You
a
could
single
call it a
weekend.
single day anyway.
Yeah,
For the YouTube thumbnail.
or the YouTube thumbnail. But yeah, maybe a weekend would be more appropriate. Yeah, you start on the Friday night and end on the Sunday night or something. I think
Yeah.
there's something to do with that. And yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
seems
should
good.
be very fun. Yeah. So I'm gonna work on that. So I should bring more golf in the next year or so.
You're just making me want to get out and play. I'm not gonna
Yeah. And then come film a video.
lie.
And speaking of eating balls, I went last Wednesday, like 2 days ago, to the mini golf league. Like I met with the guy when I filmed with him last month, like at the end of June. And since then, I really wanted to go to the league to actually try a night of playing like pro mini golf. But then I was really busy, and then I went to Pittsburgh. And when I came back, they were in vacation for 2 weeks because stupid stuff. But like almost half of the city takes their vacation on the same 2 weeks because of working conditions. It's a bit stupid, but anyway. So the mini golf is super busy during those weeks, so they don't play the league because it just doesn't make sense. There's too many people on the course.
Yeah.
So I went there on Wednesday, and the way that it works is that they divide people in groups of threes, and then you go around the course doing like every hole once. So you don't necessarily do them in order. You get like jump from hole to hole to hole where there's availability between the other teams and people casually playing the course in the middle of the league. And for the price of $15, you have 2 games, and you also have like 45 minutes to practice before the game. So it's basically like 3.5 games worth of mini golf for the price of a game and a half. So that's actually a pretty good deal. And I had a lot of fun. For my first game, I putted 42 with like it's all part twos. So 32, 36 would be like the normal 2 putts per hole. I really like scuffed the last hole, the 18th hole. There's like a big hill, and I just didn't putt strong enough, and I fell off the hill twice. Like without that, I would have had 38, which is not too bad for like my first time in the league. And my second game, I actually made the 36, which was like my goal to actually reach the par. So
sweet.
Yeah. Even with that, I ended up like say third from the bottom. I don't remember how to say that in English, but there were only 2 people worse than me. Yeah. Third from the bottom. So there's a lot of good putters in the league, so it's pretty cool. They were like 35 on that day. It's really growing. It's a great course. It's just really beautiful. And I think I'm in vacation for 2 weeks. I think I will try to go back during my vacation and maybe for the rest of the season. I'm really liking mini golf so far, and I think it's just fun meeting with people. And I talked with a guy who used to play on TV because mini golf was on TV here during in the 90s, and it like everything is connected. It's pretty crazy. I talked about the video way, like the cable box that had games for the past few years of my life, and I talked about it in the podcast and stuff. And there were a mini putt game on that machine. And that game was the only one with the actual holes from the competition side in Quebec, in the province of Quebec. And one of the guy I was talking about, Jocelyn, who used to be on TV, has a recording of him doing a perfect game on that video away game. And there's no footage of this game online. There's like 2 screenshots for the whole existence of the internet. So I should be able to get my hands on like a full video of the old video away game that I could in turn transform into a real game since I know how to make games. So I'm pretty excited I was like at the right place at the right moment to find like everything is connected. I'll somehow doing a mini golf video managed to get me some footage for my other projects. So that's pretty awesome.
Sweet,
cool.
love it.
What was the what was the, I'm curious what was the vibe like at the league? Like was it pretty cool and casual, or were people like stuffy
Yeah.
about it? Like what was it like?
No, it's mostly just like fun, casual-ish. Like people go there, they all have their blue shirt of the league, and it's just people start stalking and they go off with their groups of 3, and they like if you want, people will give you like hints on how to play each hole, where you should start the ball, where you should hit the obstacles and stuff. So it's a really friendly league, and people are just like liking playing with other people who like mini golf. Like there's no like the competition is just there to like win $20 at the end.
Gotcha.
Right.
You can basically like get your admission back, but that's all. So yeah,
Right.
it's really friendly. I met cool people. I would recommend it. Like it's really fun.
Cool.
That's a lot like how Warhammer is, where like a lot of the competitions you can win money, but the majority of people aren't, and they're just there to have a good time and play games.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's and that's my only hobby that I have to talk about, is that I built some models for my Warhammer army, and I'm getting ready to play in a event tomorrow, a team event with one of my friends. So it's me and him playing 2 separate factions together against another team, or well, multiple other teams playing 2 separate factions together. So 2-on-2 event. Should be a good time. I'll have more to talk about on the next episode. A hobby has been kind of taking a little bit of a back burner. That always seems to happen for me in summertime. Like it's nice outside. I'm outside doing other things. Yeah. Like I've been spending time outside, like working on the yard and the gardens and whatnot. And I haven't been spending as much time like inside painting and post surgery and post a bunch of dental appointments and post Polycon. Haven't necessarily had a whole lot of time where I'm like, well, I can just spend a bunch of time by myself painting. I've been spending time with my girlfriend and doing other things. So I don't have a whole lot of hobby.
You've been touching grass, as the kids say.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I've been touching grass and like being an adult, and do you want me to talk about mowing my
sewer?
lawn?
The sewer problem.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my fucking sewer backing up, and
yep.
Like fucking Christ. The second time within the same year where my sewer line is backed up, to where it's not draining water, and I'm almost getting, sewer back into my basement, and it's like fucking hell. Yeah.
You should eat more fibers.
There should be. I should replace all the fucking clay pipes from the 1960s that are my current sewer pipes, because that's the problem. That's realistically what is the problem. But that's like thousands upon thousands of dollars that I don't want to spend, and don't necessarily have to spend unless I absolutely need to. So.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the city that I'm in has a tax where if it's off of my property line, we can go into this briefly. My sewer line runs from my house down underneath the road in front of my house to the main sewer line across the street. Everything from the sidewalk in front of my house over to the other side of the road is technically the city's problem. So if anything backs up over there and I call out a plumber and they say they can't get through it, I can call the city and be like, hey, come fucking fix this shit. And they'll come fucking fix it because I pay taxes for that. So federal government may be a piece of shit right now, but at least my local legislation is fine to some extent.
Oh,
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So That's all I
Rob.
got. I've been playing a little bit of Warhammer, and I'll have more Warhammer to talk about next episode.
Nice.
Cool. I always like hearing about the Warhammer stuff. It's like I haven't ever gotten into it myself, but it's just it just looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Max, we'll talk more about that for sure.
Oh yeah. What about you, Rob?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Well, I did a little amateur astronomy this week. I'm glad that you guys actually. I'm glad that you had me on for other reasons, obviously, but also it got me to pull out the old telescope so that I had something to talk about today. I haven't. I've been a little light on the. So I got into amateur astronomy about a year and a half ago. And it just sort of sucked me in, and I was like, why haven't I been doing this forever? Because I just love looking at stars, looking at planets, looking at the moon, and that kind of stuff through a telescope.
Cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I haven't done a whole lot lately for a few reasons. Partly because it's so hot outside, even at night where I am. I just don't want to be out in the muggy heat. It's also been maybe sounds contradictory, but at the same time, it's been very cloudy here, like all summer long. So, when it's cloudy, you can't see anything, of course. Also, I'm kind of a wimp and I tend to go to bed early. So during the summer, that makes it hard to do any kind of astronomy because it's not dark out yet. I mean, you can see some things, but a lot of the really cool stuff you can't see until it gets, very dark. So haven't done this in a while. So I did pull out the telescope a couple nights ago, and it was a little bit cloudy, but it was it was where they would kind of pass. In fact, I was trying to I was hoping to look at the sun a little bit because I do have a solar filter, and the sun's a pretty cool thing to look at. And as soon as I got all my stuff out, and you sort of have to let it acclimate to the weather. Like, of course it's been inside, so all my telescope and everything has been in air conditioning. I set everything outside so it could kind of acclimate to the temperature out there, or else everything kind of looks blurry and stuff. You kind of have to give it 15 minutes or so to adjust. And then by the time it had adjusted, then the clouds came out and covered the sun up. So that was a no-go. But I just left my stuff out for a little while, and then I was like, well, I'll just check out stuff tonight instead. So I left everything out there and went not too late, but kind of in the early evening where it was starting to get dark. And I didn't get a chance to see a lot of like the really cool stuff, partly again because it wasn't that dark yet, and also this time of the year there's less than there is there's in the northern hemisphere. There's less cool stuff than there is during the winter. So a lot of that stuff is gone now. So I guess you kind of know a little bit what I'm talking about, Chris.
Yeah, a little.
But I did get to look at the moon. The moon was not full, but fairly close to it. And it was very bright. I did check that out for a little bit. And that's one thing that I don't get tired of is looking at the moon. And I kind of get the impression that a lot of people who do this do get tired of the moon because it's one of those things. It's like, it's not always there, but it's more prevalent. It's there more than anything else is.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like, I've seen the moon 100 times. I'm not really interested in seeing it anymore. I don't ever get tired of the moon. The moon is always super cool to me. So I was happy to just watch the moon for a little while.
How big and clear does the moon get with your telescope?
Very. You can see craters. Yeah, you can see craters. You can see, like all the shadows. You can see like some of the like comet strikes on it. You can see it surprisingly well. The first time I ever looked at the moon through a telescope, I was blown away. Just like how much you can see, how clear everything is. You can see what are called the Yeah.
The texture of the moon is so like specific, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can see like I think they call them, if I remember, I may be off on this, but they call them the oceans, which are basically big splotches. And it's where like millions of years ago, there used to be like active lava flowing and they kind of made these big kind of smooth sort of like burned out spots. You can see those as well. You can see basically everything that you would hope to.
They're basically like these big spots of basalt where it's just black almost on the surface of the moon. It's cool. Yeah.
It's super cool. So I just looked at the moon for a little while, and it was very relaxing, very fun. I just enjoy just looking at this stuff. It just looks so cool. I guess kind of all there has to be is just something cool to look at, and I'll look at it for a while. So I did that the other day, and it was really nice. It was very fun.
Yeah. The last time we pulled out the telescope for any real thing was like the last lunar eclipse, which was like a year and a half ago, approximately, something like that, maybe 2 years ago, close to something like that. And it was, it's really cool to pull out the telescope and like see that happening up close.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I had my telescope then, but I did not have a solar filter at the time, so I had to do it the old-fashioned way with just the glasses.
Not the solar eclipse where it's coming.
Oh, the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse.
Lunar eclipse.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Those are great. Also, those are like really cool.
Yeah. So for anybody not familiar with that term, that's when the Earth. So the shadow of the Earth is passing over the moon because the sun is on the direct opposite side of the Earth. So you're able to see the shadow of the Earth pass over the moon, which is an interesting phenomenon that you don't normally get to see.
Yeah, and it gives it also like something about the way the sun is like reflecting off of the Earth. It gives the moon a red hue, which just looks cool.
Yep. Yeah, very cool.
Very cool, Rob. First time hearing you talk about astronomy and all of that. So super fun to hear that side of your hobbies.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Do you have any like good pictures of Saturn or Jupiter or anything like that?
No,
personally.
I do have one. I'll see if I can pull it up and send you guys. I do have a picture of the sun that I got. That was actually pretty good. Actually, it's on my Instagram. I think I'll pull it up. But I cannot get a good picture. I don't have like a photographer setup. I just have, like an eyepiece, like look at it through the eyepiece with your eye. You can, some people sometimes are able to put their phone up to it and actually get a pretty good picture. I've never been able to, except for this one time where I got it when I was looking at the sun.
Okay.
But no, yeah. So that's the only picture I have is one of the sun, which I just like. I don't even know how I got that one because it's never worked out any other time. The few for instance, one time there was it was a half moon, and it looked great, and I was trying to get a picture of it with my phone, and it looked like a perfect sphere. The picture that I took, I don't even know how that's possible. And it was just a perfect sphere that was blurry and silver, and it was like nothing like what you actually could see in the telescope. So yeah, I even have like a little adapter that's supposed to be able to hold your phone on it just right, and I've just never been able to get anything.
I think realistically you need like an actual camera if you're gonna do that, because you need, our phones, like my phone has 3 different sensors on the back of it, right? But my actual camera, like my good camera that I have, has just the one sensor and the lens. So if I wanted to take good photography of things through a telescope, I would buy a very specific lens for that camera to then adapt to the telescope that I have and have that all just as kind of one piece where I'm only looking through like the digital readout of the sensor on the camera and then taking photos that way. Like, I wouldn't try and do it through the phone because you don't know which sensor the photograph is going to try and come through on the phone. It's such a pain with the phone cameras. Like, they're great, don't get me wrong. Like, you can do really awesome stuff with them, but they're kind of a pain. Oh yeah, you can see like sunspots and stuff on this.
This one came out surprisingly good. It's like very clear. You can see all the sunspots, and there were a lot in this particular day.
Yeah.
I guess I just got, or maybe it had something to do with it being light outside and not dark. Maybe that helped it out somehow. I don't know why, but this is the only picture I've ever been able to get through it.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yep.
I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. That's it for hobby, yeah? Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Let's move on to some loot box. And I have two videos to shout out. The first one is from a creator that I just found called Totally Not Mark.
Oh,
This guy
I
has
love
like
I love
he's
Totally Not Mark. Well,
okay. He's got like
I've not been watching him like for like the past year or so, but I've been a long time follower. Yeah.
okay.
Subscribe.
He has like I've never watched his videos before, and he has like 1 million subscribers. So like
Yeah. So if I want,
apparently a popular
I will,
guy.
anyway, I will do like a short history of this guy. He used to do like only Dragon Ball content, like Dragon Ball analysis of like strength, characters, characterization,
Sweet.
arts, everything about Dragon Ball. And then at some point he decided to shift into more anime related stuff. Like he read all of One Piece and like made videos of him analyzing the arcs and everything and what he thought about those mangas. And then he shifted to do like this kind of thing with other mangas. So like he read through all Naruto and then summarized his thoughts about Naruto. And what I like with like his early One Piece content in particular was he was very detailed on like the story. So it felt like I was getting a summary of the story at the same time as he was talking about the story. But nowadays is more assuming that you know what's happening in the story. So if you have not watched or read those mangas, those videos are kind of impossible to follow. It's just him talking about stuff that I have no idea what he's talking about.
See a video on here by him. It's every plot hole in Dragon Ball ever.
Yeah. It's one of his recent ones. That one was pretty good because I know Dragon Ball, so I clicked on it. There were a few like plot holes that I really did not understand. Like I was like, what you're saying is not true. Like I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what
Right.
you're
Really?
saying, but this is not true. Like you're not saying the right things. But overall, those videos are fun. I like this guy.
Okay, so the video that I specifically want to shout out is it's titled "Okay, Gravity Falls is better than I thought," and I fucking love Gravity Falls. Like it's one of my favorite cartoons of like
It's so fucking
the last
good.
10 years. It's so good, and this video is just talking about how like he's a millennial like us. He's like in his mid-30s and he grew up watching like Dexter's Lab and fucking Powerpuff Girls and thinking that like these were the best cartoons of all time. But he watched Gravity Falls and he's like, "Oh no, this is like actually fucking good." Because it is, and it has an overarching story and like all these mysteries and everything, and he dives so much deeper into this show than I thought was possible. Like I knew there was things that I didn't realize about Gravity Falls when I watched it, despite the fact that I loved it and I binged it over like 3 days or something like that. Like I watched it super quick.
Have you watched Gravity Falls, Rob?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's kind of like Scooby-Doo with substance. If I had to a really big brushstroke, it's kind of the same structure like Monster of the Week and stuff, but there's an overarching story and every characters are super likable. So yeah, less cartoony, more serious.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah, and I love Scooby-Doo. Like those classic Scooby-Doo cartoons from like the late 60s and early 70s. Like those are some of my favorite fucking cartoons. I love them so much. But that's besides the point. This video is really good. It talks about like a bunch of like weird plot things that you don't necessarily notice on the first time you're watching through Gravity Falls. It's such a good show. It's a great mystery. And this was a fun video, just like exploring that universe. It's 2 seasons long. Rob, it's 2 seasons. It's 12 episodes per season. Like you can get through this show in literally a week if you wanted to watch all of Gravity Falls, and it's some of the best animation you will watch. It's so good.
I'll keep it in mind for sure.
Yeah. Especially like if you have kids and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, your kid will love this. Yeah. Yeah, she would love it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's child friendly for sure, but
Mhm.
I'm a 35-year-old man, and I'm like, I love this. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then my second video that I want to shout out is Indigo Gaming. This is a video about the game that I was talking about earlier, Arcanum. He did a series of 3 videos about the 3 games that Troika Games produced. This was the first one in the series and the first game that Troika Games produced. Really great video. Indigo Gaming is one of these channels where like they put out like 3 videos a year, and they're the best fucking content you're ever gonna see on YouTube, but they only put out 3 videos a year. So it's like, why? Like, if you just sped up your process a little bit, like you could be doing this full time, and you would have so many views because he's put out so many great videos. I love this guy. Great videos. This video is really good. I went back and rewatched it, and it doesn't get into like super spoilers or anything, but if you want like more in-depth and more succinct analysis of Arcanum and why I think that game is good, this guy explains it in a 20-minute video in much more better articulation than I ever possibly could in an impromptu podcast where we're just kind of talking off the cuff, because it's very scripted and he's talking off the script, and he explains everything that I said in a much more articulate way. It's very good.
Awesome.
Cool.
On my end, like I said, I've found my way into golf YouTube videos, so I've mostly been watching just golf content for the past 2 weeks. And the first video that I found is the one that sucked me in. It's by a guy called Josh Mayer. I love his channel. I binged a lot of his things, and the video he made is I played every free golf course in America, where he just takes a plane with a buddy of his and just go play some golf into weird places where they have free golf courses. There's one actually in Virginia near a bunch of our friends, like near the university, where you can just go and play golf. It's free. So yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
you sent me this video. I still have not watched it. I need to.
Yeah, I think it's super fun, and he has a bunch of other videos where he does kind of silly challenges. He shows his father how to play golf in the morning, and in the afternoon he goes golfing with him. Well, he does the caddy while his father golf, and the video ends when his dad finally does a par on an 18 hole. So will he do it? And that's like the whole hook of the video, and I think it's super fun. It's just he has a lot of good ideas, and I know it's a absolute long shot. I don't think it will happen, but if I do my golf video next year, I will try to reach out to him. I don't know if he would be willing to like fly to Canada to like play golf with me, but I think my idea of doing all those golf courses in a day or in a weekend would fit like perfectly in this channel. So who knows? Maybe if I can reach out to him, I think it would be freaking amazing.
Maybe. Why not?
That's
Try.
awesome.
Fuck
Who
it.
knows?
Who cares?
Like, yeah.
The worst thing he can say is no.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? Maybe at some point. The second golf video that I found that is just truly fantastic is by a guy called Manors Golf, and the video is living at a golf club until I break the course record. So he lives somewhere in the United Kingdom. Not sure which part of the United Kingdom, but he goes to his childhood course where he learned to play golf, and he used to play golf professionally, but he stopped because that was like too mentally taxing for him. And now he just does YouTube about golf. And the whole hook of the video is that he lives and sleeps at the golf course until he breaks the course record, which is like -5. So he has to do a -6 on the 18 hole to beat the course record, and it's been standing for like 20 years. And the way it just shows his journey and his emotion is super raw. He doesn't hide behind the mask. It's just like he's pissed, he gets impatient, he gets devastated when he gets near the record. And I think this one is a fantastic watch. Like, I don't think this whole channel is amazing, but this one video is just like truly fantastic. He really knocked it out of the park with that one.
Wait,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Rob, what about you?
I'm gonna shout out a guy named Drifting Adams. I don't consume a whole lot of YouTube content and stuff like that, but so I found Drifting Adams first off at the beginning of my ill-fated attempt to learn the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for NES speed run, which is kind of fallen. I wouldn't say I've given up on it, but it's definitely on the back. It's been on the back burner for a while.
Right.
I got about halfway through it, and then I was like, "This is fun, but I want to do other stuff." But I may return to it at some point. Anyway, I found him first because he has a very detailed video on just how the TMNT speedrun goes, and like very specific breakdowns on like what you should do on this part, what you should do on that part, even like pixel perfect stuff, like you can kind of like clip through the pixel on this part, and like on this part of the swimming level try to do this and you get a little speed boost for a few seconds, little things like that. And that was how I found out about him. And then I found the disc, basically like the Discord for TMNT speedruns of any TMNT game, and he was on there as well, so I kind of got to talking to him. Eventually started watching him on Twitch because shortly after I kind of talked to him a few times and asked him a few questions, he started streaming his own speedruns of the game on Twitch. He's trying to break the world record, and he's gotten like so good at the game, but he's still a little bit away from the world record.
Right.
But even not having the world record yet, I would dare say he probably knows more about the speedrun than probably anybody else in the world. One of the things he started doing and I don't know, I'm not sure if he's finished this or not. I think he may have. I've missed like the last week or two of a lot of his stuff, but he was working on a tool assisted, on basically a task bot for the speedrun, basically partly as a way to just like learn all the very specific details of it, but also he was comparing the US version to the Japanese version to see what kind of very minor differences there might be in the two games. So those are a couple really cool things he's been doing. He streams just about every weekday morning. If you want to watch him, just try the TMNT speedrun, see if he can beat the record or at least beat his PB and stuff like that. He's also done he's been working on a series of console gaming history videos. He only has 2 so far because he spends a lot of time like working on each of these, and of course he's not the first person to do a history of video games video, or even probably a history of console games video, but there's something about his style that I just really like. He I don't know, he just comes like I can't really quite pinpoint it, but he's very pleasing to listen to, and the way he presents the information is just like very relaxing to watch. I would highly recommend checking him out. The only problem is it's hard to find. It's kind of sometimes hard to find his stuff amidst his like dozens of TMNT speedrun videos. If you pull up his YouTube channel, it's like a million thumbnails of TMNT stuff, and then there's like a few other things mixed in. If you look hard enough, or if you just search like gaming history on his channel, you'll find it for sure. But I like those kind of. I think I don't want those to get swept under the rug or overlooked by people, because he mostly by far does TMNT stuff, but his console game history videos are actually very, very good. So Drifting Adams, I just recommend just check him out.
Solid.
I
Love
think
it.
I will. Like his history video sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sweet. Well, if you would like to reach out to us with any questions, comments, or topics of discussion, you can email us at thetrashstation@gmail.com.
And we would like to thank Heath Aldridge for our intro and outro music. You can find the link to all his music on his Bandcamp page at heathaldridge.bandcamp.com.
And we would also like to thank Rainbow Savvy Designs for our logo. Links to both their works will be available in the show notes. And you can find me.
Oh yeah. I wanted to like break your sentences, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Scotch and Hobbies. I usually stream. I haven't been streaming as often. So you can find me, follow me on Twitch, and you'll get notified of my streams when I do them. I'm not gonna whatever.
Yeah.
But you can find me on social media also, and you can also find my other podcast, which I just had an episode release the day that we're recording, but it'll be a few days ago by the time you're hearing this. The Monthly Mishap, where I talk about movies and TV and stuff like that with my friend Josh, Leslie, and we recommend one another something to watch, and then the next month we get together and it's like a book club. We talk about the thing that we told each other to watch. It's a good time.
Nice. Yeah. And if you want to play some of my games, you can check out my itch.io page at potomax.itch.io. Otherwise, you can see what I'm playing on Blusky at Potomax, even though I've not been beating like anything for the past month or so. And if you speak French or like to read endless subtitles, I have a ton of videos on the good old YouTube at youtube.com/Chevière. Rob, where can people can find you?
You can find the Classic Gaming Podcast at classicgamingpodcast.com or just search for it on, podcast platforms. You can find Boxography, which is kind of my newer project, at youtube.com/@boxography.
Perfect. That's
Perfect.
that's a podcast.
That's the podcast. Yeah.
That's a podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us, Rob. It's been really fun to have you on.
Yeah, thank
We've
you.
ran almost as long as your normal podcast, so we knew you were the perfect guest for us.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome. It's always fun to talk with you guys. Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I love it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. It was definitely a good time.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.